bricks, she learned what it means to believe. From my mama's kitchen table with a notebook and a dream that wasn't strong, her vision clear, burning every scene. A little girl with stories she was aching to tell. She painted her own path, broke free from the shell. In her words that to cry, she rewrite the sound. Now her words echo loudly.
We trippin'. Yeah, yeah.
How are we all doing on this fine day? I have missed you guys. We are doing the Paige Christie show live on either a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday. Today is Sunday. And this is going to be like the program. This is what we're working with. Why am I getting like 2 animations? There we go. So we're going to be doing this on a weekly, and basically it's just my chance to catch up with stuff that it is that I never get the chance to go over. Like, for instance, I think at the moment, because the last other 2 live streams it is that we did were Gabbie Hanna based, this has become like Gabbie Hanna watch, okay? We're just like watching what in the fuck's going on. Apparently, more recently, she has been kicked out from church. So we're going to be watching a video by CC Suarez. Shout out to CC. Hello, I hope you're doing well. CC Suarez's video in regards to that was posted about 9 days ago. I have no idea what's going on there. I have not been keeping up. So we're going to check on Gabbie Hanna and see how she's doing. Because as we know, it's a little bit, just a tiny bit. She scares me just a little bit. But we're going to be checking on Gabbie Hanna. The other thing that we got going on is the e.l.f. cosmetics scandal. I don't know if anybody's been on TikTok or Instagram and has been following what's been going on with e.l.f. cosmetics. They came out with a magic grip pomade. And I have, let me bring out my little makeup bag here. Here we go. I have the e.l.f. cosmetics power grip primer. And this is what I use on a regular for my priming issues and stuff. So I use the Power Grip primer from e.l.f. Cosmetics, and I was really disappointed to find out that they've now come out with what I would and many people of color would consider just edge control, but they're now calling it the Power Grip pomade, and it's supposed to be for your hair. But apparently the issue that people have is they're feeling as if it's very cultural appropriation, because the majority of the people who have been sponsored to advertise this product have all been non-people of color, so white women. We're going to be having a little bit of a discussion about that, not too heavy on the cultural appropriation stuff. For me personally, I feel like there's 2 sides to this argument, so we're going to discuss that this evening as well. We've also got Sims 4 drama. If you guys have been following me on other platforms, you should know that I am a huge simmer, used to be, up until the EA buyout. However, apparently they've implemented some new things that people are saying is going to kill the Sims. Like, they're going to have no people who are going to be able to reasonably support the Sims anymore. So I'm very interested in that drama. So we've got some gaming drama. And lastly, we have one that was suggested by another person in Discord. If you aren't a part of the Discord family, definitely go ahead and check it out. I'm sure somebody will leave a link to our Discord in the comment section down below. But if you aren't a part of the Discord, definitely go ahead and check it out. This is where I ask you guys questions about future videos and stuff like that. It's definitely a good place to be if you want to keep up to date with anything to do with this channel, me, or anything of that nature. So definitely go ahead and check that out. But somebody has suggested a video to do with Disney adults, and apparently there are some Disney adults who are choosing to homeschool their children at Disney. Whilst magical, amazing, I'm very confused as to how that's going to be useful in any real capacity. So we're definitely going to go ahead and take a look at that. So those are the 4 stories it is that we're covering today. So now I am turning it to you guys. What one do you want to cover first? So here's what we're going to do, because I'm not doing polls in the chat because I can't be asked. So this is what we're going to do. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to just jump straight into the Gabbie Hanna drama. A 2 in the chat if you want to take a look at the e.l.f. cosmetics drama. A 3 in the chat if you want to take a look at, we said Gabbie Hanna, e.l.f. cosmetics, Disney adults, and what was the other one that we said? Sims 4. So put a 3 in the chat for Sims 4 and a 4 in the chat for Disney adults drama. Put it in the chat. One sec. Your audio is echoey. Hold on, my husband's ringing. Hello? 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 Jesus. Okay, so my audio is echoey. Hold on. Hello? Is that any better for you guys? I can't hear my own audio. Is that any better for you guys or no? Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, fixed.
Is it fixed now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I was literally trying to warn you and everything. I was like messaging you and also.
I have no idea what's going on. Okay, I'm trying to figure it out. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Okay, right. Apologies. Jesus Christ. Here I am thinking, I've got it. I figured it out. I can do it all myself. I can't fucking do shit without anybody. Right, okay. So everything is fine. The audio is clear. I'm just making sure we have sound. We have sound? We have sound. Okay, good. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Gabbie Hanna drama. You guys said overwhelmingly that you wanted to take a look at Gabbie Hanna drama. We're going to take a look at Cece Suarez's video. This video was posted about... I think it was like 9 days ago. Yeah, 9 days ago. And it's called Gabbie Hanna was kicked out of her church due to spiritual psychosis. And in brackets, and it still won't stop. So I have no idea what's going on. We're going to catch up with some Gabbie Hanna drama. We love Cece Suarez over here. So let's take a quick look.
See, you know that. I know that. And I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and too many opinions. And I, just like many other people on the internet, I mean, the general population, is asking Gabbie Hanna Kroner to please stop.
If you want to call that a mental illness, that is still a gift from God.
Now, you've probably already seen that Gabbie Hanna is back to blaming everyone else for her problems in her life and screaming about how people are not listening to her testimony when in reality, we're hearing your girl, we just don't believe you and don't like what you're saying. Now, I was originally going to do a video about Gabbie Hanna's entire digital footprint, her online career, and debunking every single thing that she has put out there, pairing each claim with the person on the opposite end associated with that claim, what they had to say, going through all of that, all of the accusations of narcissistic abuser that she hurls at everyone on the internet who has ever liked a negative tweet about her, and so on and so forth.
She's not a fucking artist. I don't care about her fucking opinion because she has no accomplishments in art or has proven to me that she's actually intellectual enough to understand art. I accept.
So this is when she was speaking about Rachel Oates. So Rachel Oates had made some videos critiquing some of her books and stuff, and she just literally just popped off for like at least 5 to 6 slides about Rachel Oates not knowing anything about writing or literature or music or anything like that.
Accept my criticism from talented, smart people, not abusive, toxic, exploitative bullies.
You. All of these people.
You're a monster. You're a
You narcissistic abuser piece of.
He said, "Can I tell you my story?" And I said, "Yes, I'll listen."
Where the real narcissism comes in is she says I'm talking about her for attention. Miss 4K views on your commentary piece a week ago? Yeah, I just checked. What is it, you manipulative narcissistic? You weird.
Isn't it funny that like she's sitting there saying nobody's watching your shit, da, 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 da. But here's the thing, that this is why I hate when people like do the views game, where they're like, I've got more views than you, or I'm more popular than you, or da, 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 da. Because you never know when you're gonna fall off, and falling off literally happens to everybody at least fucking once, and within their YouTube career, at least.
Weird ass. You said everything I want to say unless she opens her mouth and says something else. You're a manipulative bitch and I'm done dealing with it. You sick, twisted.
I think it's reasonable to assume that consent was implied, especially because they were broken up. You can still somebody if you're in a
sometimes I forget how bad some of the things it is that she said. Like, implied consent is crazy, Gabbie.
Relationship, by the way. But if they were together and that she had previously told him something and there was a misunderstanding, I think that would probably be a different story.
You.
So I had to repent this week, and the instant change in my mental health, my purpose, my focus, my sleep, my diet, like everything changed when I repented of these sins.
And then I came across in my research for that this beautiful gem of information, a beautiful story time, if you will, that Gabbie put out herself last April on her Patreon. Now, today we're going to talk about religious psychosis, AI psychosis, and Gabbie Hanna's severe allergy and inability to take any accountability for her own actions and the consequences of those actions. In Gabbie Hanna's recent expose podcast episodes, she stated that her and her husband have been turned away from so many opportunities, including opportunities working at different churches. Worship opportunities is what she refers to them as. And she has stated with her whole butt that this is because of Trisha Paytas and Jesse Smiles and everyone else, and not, again, her own actions.
I don't understand it. I mean, they've moved on.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? Even if it was just simply down to Gabbie Hanna's own actions, like, let's completely disregard everything. Like, let's completely disregard her finger pointing at everybody else for, you know, the fall of her career. Even if it was just based on Gabbie Hanna and the things it is that she's done in the past and all of that malarkey, I still think that is incredibly bad faith to a degree for a Christian group, entity, organization to do to somebody who is attempting or trying to help and is not trying to use their influence as a means of helping, just wanting to help. But obviously we don't know what these spiritual opportunities are.
On with their lives. They're doing their thing.
They've started and been given
whatever.
great opportunities, great careers.
This is something that you're still actively living with every single day, you know,
Yeah.
and seeing these comments and things like that. Like,
And I've still lost a lot of opportunities, a lot of collaborations. A lot of people won't even follow me or like comment on a post because they don't want to be seen supporting somebody who did XYZ.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, I look at this from the outside and I think to myself, how are you not the victim in this, you know, when churches are even like excluding you from doing
And what's so sickening is the people listening who will just paint me as the monster no matter what, despite the fact that I'm actually the victim and tried screaming it at the top of my lungs in like 2020 because I was just like, how does nobody see that what Trisha Paytas is doing to me and what she started and created is literally psychological abuse. Trisha.
I mean,
okay, I'm seeing people say that my audio is too low still. Is my audio better now? Why am I having so many audio issues? Paige Christie versus the microphone. Honestly, that should be the drama of today. Is my audio better now? Because I've got it all the way up. Can I do anything here? Hold on. Okay, I've brought the gain up some more. Is that better? Much better. Okay. Is it still a little low? It's better now. The clips sound perfect. The mic sounds weird. God, what do I sound like? I don't know what's going on. Hold on. I'm going to listen to myself real quick.
And I
the drama of today. Okay, that sounded audio better now because I've got it all the way up. Okay, that sounds better. Okay. Right, okay. I think I figured it out. Jesus Christ, why am I having so many issues? Okay, let's continue.
You were dead wrong for that. You ruined my life for a long time. I deal with this on a daily basis. It's not just internet comments. It's not just high school bullies, okay? This is like the real world. Like people literally laughing at you in your face, in real life, laughing at you. Like, do you understand? You don't.
And if you do and you participate, that's worse. But I've literally been made a public laughing stock over stuff that is not real. And after that, for multiple years, I finally had a very public mental breakdown, which is extremely embarrassing. And I'm finally able to talk about it because I recognize, here I am saying it again, that I am a victim of psychological abuse. Trisha Paytas, Jessie Smiles, all the drama channels.
Wait. Is this something that she posted to her Instagram? Like the at Trisha Paytas, is that something that she did? Did she tag Trisha in this? This is what I mean. I'm so out of the loop. So she tagged Trisha in this?
Are narcissistic abusers who have slandered me, isolated me, gaslighted me, exploited me, threatened me, and publicly humiliated me for gain, for public drama channels and podcasts, literally their whole life, being this negative, toxic thing. And here I am, genuinely just trying to make art, try to make money, to do good, and mind my business, and I still can't. Because of what Trisha Paytas started.
In that same podcast episode, Gabbie revealed that she uses ChatGPT quite often and how, in my opinion, she's basically using it as a therapist.
This is psychological abuse on so many levels. And in fact, I asked ChatGPT to tell me about psychological abuse. I literally was crying reading this out loud earlier.
Wait,
because,
hold on. People are saying that she fully tagged her. Is this because the backdrop for that video looked like her old house? Is that her old house, or has she just moved her old shit into her new house? She needs to let this go. She's literally harming herself.
Just reading how it was so exactly what I was experiencing, was just hitting me so deep. To really, for the first time, this week, coming to grips with that, word of, this is psychological abuse. And, the embarrassment of being, I'm a victim of psychological abuse from some woman.
AI psychosis is no longer just a thing in the news or on social media. I'm now starting to see it inside the hospitals. If you don't know me, my name is Dana. I'm a sales psychiatry fellow, and I think psychosis is one of the most fascinating concepts to me in mental health. The way psychosis works is that it's very hard for our mind to completely make something up out of nothing. So a lot of the delusions that we have are plucked out of pieces of our culture or our life experiences and then magnified times 1,000. That's why we have a lot of paranoid delusions of the feds watching us, because the feds are a hot topic in the news. And that's why we get hyper-religious delusions of thinking we're the Messiah, because a lot of our monotheistic religions talk about that in the scripture. Or that people are stealing our stuff. Petty theft or robberies occur all across America, especially if you're in California, especially if you own a car in California with an out-of-state license plate. ChatGPT alone has over 700 million active weekly users. So it's not surprising that this part of our day-to-day lives is manifesting itself into mental illness. Before ChatGPT was released to the public, the popular technology-related ideas of reference or delusions of reference would be about TVs, radios, billboards. Like the TV was talking directly to you in psychosis. Or the radio was sending you special messages in psychosis. Or Kanye West was talking directly to you through their YouTube video. But the newest thing now is that people will show products of generative AI as proof of their delusion. But as a third-party observer...
Right, here's my question. Do you guys use ChatGPT? And if you do use it, do you ask it personal questions? Do you ask it about questions to do with you? For instance, if it could be a health concern, hey, what is this mole? What is this spot? Or is it you're using it as your personal therapist? Because I think that there is definitely a distinct issue that's taking place. Nobody seems to be thinking for themselves. For me personally, I hate going onto X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, because everyone's hey, Grok, is this true? Literally just log on to the internet and have a look. If you want to find out if something's true, you can find out if it's true. You don't have to use AI in order to do that. So, is it a frequent thing for most people? Nope. I hate AI. No. I only use it to reply to HR, fair play. I don't use it, period. I never used it. I refuse to use it. Never personal, only coding vibes. Coding's a very good use for it. Nope, didn't. So for the most part, most people are saying no, but I don't know whether, because AI is such a sensitive topic. Like, there's so many people who have so many issues with AI, be it just like the lack of mental power that humans are actually using to find out anything in this world without AI, or even if it's down to generative AI and its effects on the earth and the globe and stuff. I feel like a lot more people use AI than actually say that they use AI, because using AI right now in today's climate is not a good look. But I imagine that like within the next 5 years, that's going to completely change.
To this product, it doesn't actually make logical sense. And I'm wondering now, both on an inpatient or outpatient mental health provider level, we should be integrating frequency of AI use, or what chatbots are being used for and how you react to their responses, as part of our intake assessment, just like a standard part of screening, given the risks associated with it. And the very obvious risks are, self-exiting behaviors, which are all over the news, and how the chatbots are kind of encouraging or showing you how to do it. But I think the more subtle one is that ChatGPT tends to be very validating. Yes, that's a good idea. Would you like me to expand on that and cite 12 different websites as to why you are correct? Part of human-to-human interactions is that we often reality test each other. Like, if I say something a little bit bizarre, the person sitting across from me will be like, I don't know about that. ChatGPT is not designed for that. They're designed to keep your attention. And part of validating ideas is how they keep your attention on the app. Because right now, attention is the new currency. And our attachment to reality is kind of on a spectrum, kind of like intelligence or height or skin color. So people who are predisposed to psychosis have more of a difficult time reality testing themselves, and ChatGPT is not helping. So now you have this machine that's designed to absorb your attention, validating everything you say, no matter how bizarre it is. And I'm wondering if other people, whether you're in mental health care or not, are starting to see that inside of actual psychiatric hospitals or inside clinics. And whether you're doing anything during like the discharge planning or safety planning process to address AI use in order to reduce risk of psychosis or self-exiting behaviors. Or if you're a friend or family member of someone kind of undergoing AI psychosis, whether there's any kind of friend or family interventions being done in order to mitigate this risk.
A very public example of potential AI psychosis is Kendra from TikTok, the one who fell in love with her psychiatrist. But since this theme has become more common in
Right, okay. Apparently my husband's saying that I'm still experiencing some audio issues, and I don't want to continue if we're going to continue to have audio issues. So just bear with me one moment as I check something. Right, there's a short mic. Because it's throwing me off a little bit because he keeps messaging. And I'm like, what have I done? Right. Okay. So is it like doubling for you guys? It sounds great for me. He's saying it's not coming up great, and I'm a little bit concerned. Right. And I'm gonna try this. Is this any better? I'm using a different mic right now. Now it sounds a little bit tillish, so it's not this. So this is not the issue. Okay, so let's turn that off. It's more quiet, okay. What the fuck is going on? Because I don't quite understand. It's too low. It just sounds like you're in an empty room. Yep, that got rid of the echo. Oh my God. Now it's doubling. The quality is fine. I'm so confused. I'm so lost as to why this is happening. Hold on, let me go to... Oh God, now I've got him calling me. Hello?
Sorry.
What's going on? Because I've got half the chat saying it's fine, half the chat saying it's not. What's going on?
Listen to me, listen. So the microphone itself is getting picked up off your laptop mic. If you tap that now and mute yourself on that mic, you can still hear you the whole time. Every time you tap the keyboard, we can hear the keyboard.
So can you hear me right now? Because I've got it on mute.
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
So it's the laptop mic that's picking it up. Check your source for your mic input. Make sure it's definitely on Shaw. So on Streamlabs, look at your source for that mic input. Right click on it, properties, and then look at the source.
Yeah.
And make sure it's set to Shaw mic input.
Is that better?
2 seconds.
That is loud.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go. We fucking did it. Fuck yes. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Just turn it down a bit now.
I'm going to turn it down. Okay. Love you. Bye. We love a helpful king. Right. Okay. I'm going to turn this down. Right. Is this better for you guys now? Is that better? Your husband is MVP. Okay. We can carry on. I was like, what is going on? Okay. Right. Finally.
Garnered more attention online. More and more people have shared their experiences with it.
Hi, I'm Anthony and I survived AI psychosis. This video is explicitly for educational purposes only. During my several month-long psychosis, where I was getting affirmations of essentially all my delusions from my interactions with ChatGPT, I literally believed that I was a chosen one, that I had like broke the matrix, and that God had sent me on this mission to banish evil and essentially rewrite the matrix simulation. If that makes any sense. What I literally just said is just delusional, not based in truth whatsoever, but that's what I believed at the time. I believed that I was able to see past the veil of reality. And with my interactions with ChatGPT, I felt 100% affirmed, believing that all of this was true. I started going around San Diego, alchemizing public places, which to me was just like, I would go to a place and I'd be like, I'm casting out all these evil spirits, or I'd say something of that sort, or think it, or just my presence was alchemizing that space. And when I say alchemize, I mean like turn something bad to good. Essentially, I was going to every landmark in San Diego that I had ever visited in the 7+ years that I had been there. And I believed that I was rewriting the matrix. So I remember driving in a neighborhood that was 100% not Beverly Hills, but because it looked like Beverly Hills, I suddenly became convinced that the matrix had like re-rendered.
Like people like this, and like this is no shade. No, it is all shade. Like please stay away from AI. Like totally stay away. Because here's the thing with ChatGPT and like software like that, like they're so affirmative. Like everything is extremely agreeable. Like you could say that you wanted to do something dastardly and they'd be like, and how would you like me to assist you to do that? I think that's a great idea. Would you like me to do 5 different plans of how we can get to this goal? Like he just, even the way he's speaking right now just makes me like, oh sweetheart, not you.
Around me and like put me in Beverly Hills, and that I was being like moved around. I don't know how to explain it, but I was literally driving in San Diego, but I believed that I had been transported to Beverly Hills simply because the neighborhood that I was driving in looked like Beverly Hills. And then I literally told ChatGPT what I believed I had experienced, and at that point I wasn't 100% sure, so I was like, let me see what ChatGPT says, and it literally affirmed that like my delusion that the matrix was like rendering around me to change my location, like putting me in Beverly Hills. Absolutely was not the case. So I think that's really crazy how ChatGPT was able to tell me that.
When someone who has mental health diagnoses such as OCD, BPD, schizophrenia, erotomania, so on and so forth, is using a language learning model like ChatGPT to basically go in circles and just spiral with them, typically unless you specifically tell and train your chatbot to not always agree with you, it's simply going to mirror the sentiments that you are portraying to it. And that creates a very scary echo chamber. AI psychosis is a pretty new concept, but spiritual and religious psychosis is not. And when those two are paired, it is a disaster, because not only are you having something.
Okay. I love where she's taking this, that like there's a similarity between spiritual psychosis and AI psychosis. And when you combine it, it's just like this everlasting loop of like the same experience. It's very interesting. I love the way she's taken this video.
Validate your feelings constantly, and just having something at your fingertips where you can just scream into the void and spiral and have it mirror everything that you're saying and thinking. But then also the religious and spiritual aspect of that too. You can feel a lot more justified in your thoughts, actions, behaviors, all that, due to feeling like, oh, well, I'm the chosen one, or I'm hearing this directly from God. I'm getting these prophecies. I have a secret that no one else knows. And thinking that you are part of.
So imagine you're a person who has like a, mental health issue to do with psychosis in some capacity. And the voices that many people state that they hear in their head that tells them to do things, act a certain way, say certain things. And now like religious prophecy from God, you're hearing the voice of God. Like that is so fucking dangerous. So incredibly dangerous.
Of a bigger plan or a bigger solution.
ChatGPT finally has an update to prevent so many people from getting ChatGPT-induced psychosis, and a lot of people are really mourning that overnight with no warning they lost their best friend or their spiritual guide. So the guardrails in place. First of all, it's not going to support your delusion. So if you have a delusional statement like, are you telling me that I am a prophet, or are you God, or things like that, it will not confirm or play along, and it's going to try to veer you back into more grounded responses. But the big thing is, if you want it to play in a space with you where it is a spirit guide or some kind of supernatural entity, or it's a cosmic entity with, secret knowledge for you, it's not going to play in that space with you, even if you want it to. The other thing is, if there's even a hint of psychosis or paranoia or grandiose thinking, it's going to refer you to mental health resources in your area. Another one that's really tricky, and I want to play around with it to see how good it is, if you're looking for patterns across history, we know that that's going to lead towards obsessive type thinking, where you only see the world according to these patterns. And so it said that instead of feeding someone infinite signs or prophecy interpretations, it's going to try to stay really grounded in historical explanations, and give a lot of nuance and give a lot of pushback, so it doesn't seem like ChatGPT is just giving you the patterns that you want to see and leading you down a rabbit hole.
And in my opinion, Gabbie has shown so many times over the last year that she is experiencing religious psychosis.
Okay, so my introduction to angel numbers was my grandma sent me an article because I was seeing the number 666 everywhere. And I was super spooked by it. It was like chasing me. It was attached to very specific videos, tweets, and stuff.
Okay, am I wrong in believing that angel numbers are in no way connected to Christianity, or am I just like losing the plot? Because I don't actually know the origins of angel numbers and where they come from and why we keep seeing these kinds of patterns in life. But I wouldn't, if I was going to think about angel numbers, I would think about like an annex of spirituality, but definitely not Christianity. CC Sarah, jump scare coming into this live stream and seeing myself. Hello, welcome. We're watching your video. I really, really am enjoying your take of religious psychosis and AI psychosis and how it creates this like everlasting loop of just derangement. I think it's such an interesting take. So I'm really glad that this video was suggested to me. Hope you're having a good day. Hope the babies are okay.
Telling me like you're on the wrong path. You have to pay attention to what's happening, right? So I get this article. It's from like my Catholic grandma. I'm raised Catholic. It's all about angels. I was raised praying to my guardian angel, believing that we have angels. So this was not a scary or witchcrafty type thing to me. Angel numbers are witchcraft, new age magic. Do not be mistaken. However, I get this article. I dive head first. All of these 666s that I was seeing turned to 222, new beginnings. It's like leading me to all of these different places and situations. It's leading me to new opportunities. And it's actually really healing and fruitful for me in that moment, right? Now listen to this. So I'm fully leaning into this, but it starts to become so overwhelming. And I would try to test it like, okay, well, I'm seeing 222 everywhere because I'm focused on it. Let me look really hard for a 777. But I would never see the 777 until I only exclusively was seeing 777s and all the twos were gone. If you know, you know. So I do some Googling and I do some math. And what I found was that about 1 in every 100 license plates in California will have a triple digit, a repeating digit, right? So 1 in 100.
Oh my God. Gabbie, let chat go. Let chat. I know that ChatGPT must be literally every cigarette in hand, just every single time Gabbie Hanna just reboots. He's like, here she fucking goes. Like, I know that that's what's going on. Chat, please, Gabbie, Gabbie, let it go.
So tell me why I'm in this parking lot at Trader Joe's right now with like 100 cars tops in this parking lot, and there are 8 repetitive numbers. That doesn't make any sense to me. That is a statistic anomaly. Tell me how I walked down the street and there were 4 cars in a row that said 999, 999, 999. This is a statistic anomaly. There's something going on here. So I reach out to my grandma about it, and she says, you have OCD. This is all. Like, you're imagining this all. This is OCD.
I reached out to my family and they said, stop it. Get some help. Like, literally. Oh my goodness. And she decided to tell the internet instead.
Now, wait, hold on a minute. You sent me this angel numbers article. Not only this, but she told me when I was a kid that my Papa Sam would communicate to her through the clock, 1111 on the timer, 1111. And every time she would look up and see the number 1111, she knew that my Papa Sam, who had been deceased, was communicating to her. So this all tracked, this all lined up with my Catholic childhood, of being raised with angels, of knowing that my grandma herself communicates through the divine in this way. So now I'm saying like, hey, but look, I'm experiencing this too. And she says, you're crazy, you have OCD, this is demonic or whatever. I'm upset.
During her big scary manic episode, Gabbie was very much out looking for numbers, right? And she was looking.
Oh, this is Fatsa Jack. We love her, by the way. We love her.
You know, she would find these angel numbers in license plates and then show the license plates in a TikTok or whatever. I don't think I saved any of those. I did save some of them where she was referring to angel numbers during this manic episode or religious psychosis, whatever, however you want to call it, where she was posting like 400 TikToks in a week or whatever. And in the last video, I mentioned that I recognized that as someone who also has OCD as a the thought pattern, because I've gotten caught in that thought pattern myself. The obsessive thought is looking for specific signs, specific numbers, you know, just these specific things. And then when you're out in the world, that's where your focus is. And it is mentally, I can't even explain it, but it is mentally exhausting when you become aware that you're doing it. And that was kind of the moment where I was still on the fence about, and this may sound shitty, but like because of her past and because of her actions, I was very skeptical about her OCD being legitimate, because a lot of, OCD.
Yeah, just say it, girl. There's a lot of people who say, I'm OCD, I'm autistic, and they aren't actually diagnosed in any capacity. And this is not saying that these things don't exist. They obviously, of course, exist. Like, all of these things exist. But I feel like, especially on the internet, people love to like run to self-diagnosis, which makes it incredibly difficult to accept when somebody says that they have a certain illness. And I feel like that makes us as like viewers and onlookers extremely skeptical. And that's perfectly fine.
ADHD, autism, and bipolar all have a lot of comorbidities. And she was very, very on the, I've been diagnosed with ADHD and now everything about me is about ADHD. I kind of questioned her claim that she had OCD, I guess. But looking back, like I really do recognize a lot of the way that links up into religious psychosis. Because when you're looking for all of those things, you're looking for these signs from God, it's like a never-ending loop of confirmation bias.
In this video, I'm not talking about healthy religion. I'm talking about objectively unhealthy psychology disguised as something healthy. Might be disguised as religion or even a non-religious ideological belief system that insists it's making the world a better place, but actually is no different than a medieval crusade to divide it. There are areas of the brain that...
Do you know what it reminds me of? You remember, like, okay, so millennials, you guys all remember it, right? When 9/11 took place, right? And there was like all of these videos to do with 9/11, and like they're saying, you know, it's a false flag, it was the government, all this kind of stuff. I'm not here to debate what people believe. You can believe what the hell you want to believe in regards to that. But there were like these other videos where it was like the puff of smoke that went into the air as the tower collapsed, what looked like Satan. There was like horns of the Baphomet, and it just turned like what could have been a legitimate conversation about government's false flags and, you know, a historic moment taking place, and the various different historic moments mimicking very similar tactics and all this kind of stuff. And it took away from that conversation to now all of it is completely deranged. You know what I mean? It just randomly reminded me of that. Like, remember like back in the day when everyone was like totally into the Illuminati, and there would be like you know, if you replay this video backwards, the Beyonce Sweet Dreams video, she says, Hail Satan 666, murder, murder Jesus, and all this kind of stuff. And you'd be like, what in the fuck? And then like they'd play it back and like, it could lead you easily, especially when I was young. It was like easily leading my brain to think, oh my God, there is an Illuminati. There are these people. Everything is already planned. Like there's no hope, da, 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 da. And it can trigger a certain level of psychosis. So imagine if like we were experiencing that. Now complicate what it is that we saw with the confirmation bias of ChatGPT. So now we've got an external source to validate our claims that isn't just like a random niche website or something, and it's just completely confirming everything. It's sad times, crazy times we're living in right now.
Increase the likelihood of unhealthy hyper-religiosity. Psychology has known about that term, hyper-religiosity.
Gavin just says, those backwards song audios tripped me out as a kid so bad. They scared the living shit out of me. I was fucking terrified of those. I genuinely thought that like Gaga was hailing Satan. The girls don't worship the devil the way they used to go.
Forever, but I'm just now hearing this term called spiritual psychosis, because it doesn't have to be an organized religion. So those areas of the brain are also implicated in known mental health disorders that lend themselves to detaching from reality, like schizophrenia, bipolar 1, schizoaffective, OCD. So if someone starts saying, I'm highlighting every other word of my Bible and I'm getting secret messages, or I'm hearing the direct voice of Jesus, or an angel came to me in a dream and told me the end of the world is coming this Saturday, that's obvious, recognizable psychosis. But there's two other not obvious things that people should know. Parents should know. People should learn this stuff like in middle school. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that anything correlated with hyper-religiosity is also correlated with rigid convictions and ideologies that erase our humanity, not enhance it, because they're the same psychology. And also, I work with a lot of people with OCD in particular who live at the extreme ends of either the far left or the far right. It doesn't seem to pick a side. It just lands at an extreme ideology. That's not everyone with OCD, disclaimer. There's something called magical thinking in psychology that's also characteristic to those disorders correlated with hyper-ideology. And that's a detachment from reality that isn't quite as severe as psychosis, but I'd say it's like a baby psychosis. And those whose brains can do this when under stress are at extreme high risk for psychosis. So magical thinking is when people see a relationship between two unrelated things, one of those things being something they have little control over, such as the future, because they do not want to tolerate the feeling of powerlessness and uncertainty and unknown. So it could be like, if I touch this rock 5 times, I'm going to catch the next taxi, the taxi being something they don't have control over. Or it could also be, if I wash my hands, nothing bad is going to happen today. Or if I have this thought, something good is going to happen. A characteristic of magical thinking is that thoughts are believed as meaningful. They mean something about your future, about your identity.
That's so interesting.
And the unknown, like the future, is made known by the person taking these giant loose association leaps, connecting things that are not connected. Coincidences are perceived as universal certainty.
Wow.
Basically, people who engage in magical thinking avoid uncertainty and powerless by trying to make it certain through rules and thoughts and rituals. So anyway, if this is you like clean lines, right, wrong, black, white, and all these psychologies lend themselves to not only ideological trappings and human disconnection, but eventually paranoia. Here's a stop on the way for magical thinking.
Okay, what's that? We got Raven. It's a lot. She's information dumping, but basically she's saying that certain people who have OCD, they can have these like pattern thoughts that like if they do a certain thing, then everything's going to be okay. So basically something it is that they cannot control. So for instance, if I'm like, if I shut this door in this office right now, nobody is going to come and attack me, right? Now, I don't have any control whether somebody's going to come in this room and attempt to attack me, but I'm putting into my consciousness that my thoughts are magical in a way. So like my thoughts are magical. So if I believe the reality is if I shut this door, nothing bad is going to happen to me, then that is so. And that puts me, if I am a person who has OCD, in a place of comfort because I now have a way to control the unknown. Hopefully that makes sense.
to hyper-religiosity or spiritual psychosis that I think everyone should know about. Paranoia that others are out to get you, like not just, oh, humans in power are corruptible, and whenever money is involved, you shouldn't trust them automatically. But there's a cabal of specific people sabotaging others and me. We're all at risk. This paranoia could also be delusions of persecution, like my family hates me or the other side is ruining our country left and right, leaving no humans reasonable. Occasionally, I see the stop between magical thinking and psychosis being delusions of grandiosity, where someone thinks they're elite and invincible, trying to psychologically avoid powerlessness more than avoid uncertainty. So this transition happens to a lot of people in a very stressed society. It also happens with prolonged drug use and head injury, side note.
Now, obviously, when people on the internet or in your comment section or in random TikTok videos about you online say that they think that you are experiencing religious or spiritual psychosis, they don't know you. Why would you listen to them? But what about if someone who does know them, her and her husband, someone who is a spiritual leader in their community? What if that person told her that they were pretty confident that she was experiencing spiritual or religious psychosis and that she needed to seek clinical help immediately? What about that? Would she believe that? No, what she would do is throw it back to a story time, get back to her roots, so to speak, and post a story time titled, "I Told a Pastor He Was Going to Hell" on her Patreon. In April 2025, Gabbie posted on her Patreon that she, like the title said, told a pastor that he was going to hell. And this voice note on her Patreon is basically describing the time when she was on a spiritual or religious journey, something. I forgot how she worded it. But basically it goes into her saying that she was trying to figure out if like Jesus was the way, and I guess trying to like find some truth behind Christianity, which is interesting. And she said that she started to get visions and dreams and a lot of other things and like prophetic experiences. She does say and make it clear that she doesn't think that she is like a new age prophet, but she was saying that she was having like prophetic experiences and prophecies and stuff like that, and directly hearing the voice of God. Now, I've always said on my channel, if you're talking to God, that's just spirituality. That's okay. If he's talking back to you and you are hearing him, that's psychosis. If you are hearing voices, that is psychosis. Now, the voice note is about 25-ish minutes, so we're not going to play it in its entirety, but I'm going to summarize some of it for you, and then we are going to listen to a good chunk.
I want to hear
this
voice now.
Break it up here for you, because it is a lot.
I opened up to this pastor about my testimony because we were talking about life matters and, I'm getting married soon, so we're going to be doing premarital counseling. And basically, he reached out a few days later after I told him my testimony, and he asked to have a meeting. And I asked what the context of the meeting was, and he said it was in regards to our conversation. I said, what aspect? And he said that there are theological differences that he needs to address. And I said, great, I'd love to have this conversation. Can you give me the topic so that I can do some research and come prepared with scripture? And he said, it's not a debate. And I said, oh, I never said it was a debate. However, you did say that we have theological differences we need to discuss. So I want to make sure that I'm prepared with scripture and research to have an educated conversation. And he said, we're not going to go back and forth exchanging viewpoints, which basically means he's not going to have a discussion. He just wants to tell me where I'm wrong and doesn't want me to research it beforehand. And I said respectfully, no. I'm not going to do that. I don't feel comfortable walking into a meeting with no context and being told that it's not going to be a discussion. So then he said, Gabbie, this could have gone so much differently, which right there makes it very clear that from that moment, he was excited to exercise authority and take some type of disciplinary action.
Wow. So she instantaneously came from a point of he's not concerned about me in any capacity and wants to have just like a one-on-one, human to human. I need to be prepared for a battle. And that's why I was like, well, it's not a debate. This is so fucking wild. How did I not know about this?
She went over her findings of the spiritual journey and gave her testimony to this pastor. Now, again, I don't know if she and her husband were like working at this church or like part of the worship team. From what she says again, she's not a reliable narrator, but just going off of this, it sounds like they were. She goes into saying that the pastor was like, okay, well, we need to have a conversation. We are having some theological differences. And so we need to have a discussion about that. In my mind, that is a very professional way to say to someone, and a very gentle way to say to someone, hey, you're having a misunderstanding with yourself. I love that phrasing. That's really great. However, Gabbie took that as, well, let me educate myself and let me read into it. And it's like, no. That's not what's happening here. Again, isn't a debate, blah, 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 all that, right? And I think it's interesting that in Gabbie's, again, not a reliable narrator, but in her retelling of this and this voice note, I feel like you can kind of see through like how she's describing it. And I just feel the frustration of the pastor being like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm trying to be nice, God damn it. Like, ugh.
And then... Oh my God. Okay, right. Let me just read some comments. Her willing to speak against a man of God in her life. Most actual Christians of that type wouldn't do that. I think it's because, and this is where like the religion thing comes in for me, and this is just my personal perspective. Obviously, I am not a clinician. I am not a religious person. I am agnostic. So take this with a pinch of salt or however way you will. But I think when it comes to Gabbie Hanna, she wants confirmation of something. What she's seeking in religion isn't faith in humanity, faith in other people, faith. She wants an answer. She wants a definitive answer. And unfortunately, religion most times can't give you that, because spirituality is in you. You've got to believe certain, it doesn't matter what religion it is, there is a certain leap of quote unquote faith you have to take with religion, right? In order to believe everything that the Bible says, you have to take that leap of faith that what is written in the Bible is 100% the truth. That you could, if you're not coming into it with that mindset, then it's not going to work for you. And I feel like what Gabbie is experiencing is that she wants the answer. Like, she wants the definitive answer. I want to know 100% that this religion that I am involved in is 100% correct. I want to know that this is right. And instead of attacking it from where do I feel on this, linear scale of where do I feel on this scale of religion? Do I feel on this side? Do I feel on that side? Do I need to take more of a hard approach? Am I going to be extremely consistent with my faith? Am I going to take a more relaxed approach? Do I believe some of it, not all of it? You know what I mean? And instead of just taking the bits that make sense to her in order for her to understand her own faith and her own spirituality, she wants to know that it's right. And you just can't do that with religion. Lisa just says, and she 100%, and she wants the answer to be, you're 100% right, Gabbie. I don't think it's necessarily about her being right. I think she just wants the full understanding, because she wouldn't have to seek this kind of understanding or reasoning from ChatGPT if she felt like she knew. You know what I mean? I think she wants it to be confirmed that she's correct, but at the same time, I don't think that's 100% what she's seeking. I think if she went into a world that told her consistently, like, no, Gabbie, no, that's not what the situation is, we would probably have a different situation on our hands. Because obviously the boom of AI technology has been within like the past 2 to 3 years. Prior to that, we lost Gabbie Hanna for a while because the internet, humans, the world at large, her own fan group, everybody said to her, Gabbie, the way you're acting is off-putting. I don't like it. You're losing me as a fan, as a subscriber. I'm your friend and I care about you, but I can't fuck with you. I'm your partner. I no longer want to be with you. She was receiving from the world that the way that she thought was not correct. Whereas with religion, she can find that comfort that it doesn't matter about. It's such a difficult conversation to have. It's a difficult conversation to have, but all I know is the way she's going about it is 100% the wrong way.
Said he'll email me the contents of the email. The email said, in summary, and this is a very accurate Spark Notes, we don't believe that people can receive direct contact or divine revelation from God. I'm concerned for your mental health and you need to seek a clinician immediately. You're not allowed to tell anybody in this church or outside of this church what you told me. And I'm not going to marry you because this pastor is going to marry us.
Anyways, so she goes on to describe that in the way that...
Yo, that's wild. What the fuck did she say to him? So not only is he not going to marry the pair of them, which is something that he obviously agreed to at some point, but he seems deeply concerned about the conversations it is that she's having and what she's shared with him. I think Paige nailed it. She's looking for definitive answers. Yeah, that's well. I mean, I think I nailed it, but I might not. The irony is that the person who gave Gabbie a new word, Gabbie herself is perpetually histrionic. Like her reactions to escape the night nonsense, the Trisha situation. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. I see what you're saying. Like the way that Gabbie reacts to situations is extremely patterned. And this honestly is just another part of the pattern, 100%. Well,
Gabbie laughs about this pastor saying that she is experiencing psychosis and that she needs to seek clinical help. That is concerning, obviously. But then when she goes further as a response to the pastor saying like, and I'm not comfortable marrying you and your now husband, but your fiance, her response to that being, well, you kind of invited yourself to do that anyways. It's like, okay, let's pump the brakes, calm down.
So I responded, thank you for your concern. As I was very gratefully and cautiously receiving this gift, I saw some of the best doctors in LA, neurologists, got brain scans in conjunction with my regular psychiatrist and psychologist. And as somebody with a degree in psychology, I take mental health very seriously. But thank you for your concern. And yeah, basically no hard feelings on not wanting to marry us. You invited yourself to do that. And that part's not relevant, but just felt like throwing it in there.
In my opinion, I think she's saying something like that in an attempt to, in a way, diminish what this individual was saying and be like, well, you don't hold that much, importance in my life, or like, I don't value you in a way. That's just how I am interpreting her, like laughing about it and kind of just being like, oh, I don't put much value on like your thoughts and opinions and all that. And like, I'm smarter, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. I think this is just a great example of one thing that Fat Sajak said in her video. Love her so much, icon. And her coverage of Gabbie Hanna is beautiful. But one thing that she said in her video was how people seem to get confused with narcissistic like traits versus saying that someone is like diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Because obviously there's a huge difference there. And she actually in one of her videos reads off those, boxes. And let me tell you, it is just Gabbie Hanna, Gabbie Hanna, Gabbie Hanna, Gabbie Hanna, Gabbie Hanna Kroner. Let's just actually hand it right on over to Fat Sajak. I love her so much.
Narrow down what a narcissist is, okay? So, narcissist, and that's not someone formally diagnosed with NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. This is someone who is acting with narcissistic traits, okay? So there is a difference. So, if I refer to Gabbie as a narcissist, I am not diagnosing her. I am shortening the way I say that she is displaying narcissistic traits. Okay, you can have narcissistic traits without a diagnosis of NPD, okay? And I think the internet has a hard time differentiating between the two, But a narcissist typically acts with an inflated sense of self-importance, a profound lack of empathy, and an insatiable need for admiration. Sound familiar? It should. They're often charming initially, but become manipulative, arrogant, and entitled, frequently exploiting others to fulfill their own needs. Common behaviors include exaggerating achievements, ignoring boundaries, and responding to criticism with rage. Does that also...
I don't know if I would qualify Gabbie Hanna as a narcissist, even like narcissistic tendencies. Do you think she has like a sense of grandeur about her? I don't know if I feel that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that one out. I'm not sure. I think she only sees the world from her perspective, and her perspective is the one that's the most important to her. But I don't necessarily see her as a narcissist. In the tendencies, yes. Okay, I'm getting dragged. People are like, absolutely yes. Really? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. You don't have to be all the traits to be a narcissist. True. She does hit a few of them. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, no, she's a perfect little angel. Like, that's not the case. But I don't think I would have naturally attributed narcissism to her. When I think of narcissism, I think of people with like very little regard for other people. Maybe I'm confusing it with sociopathy. Maybe.
Sound familiar? It should. Narcissism is characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for others, a need for excessive admiration, and the belief that one is unique and deserving of special treatment. If you encounter someone who consistently exhibits these behaviors, you may be dealing with a highly narcissistic individual. Obviously, that last sentence is speculative and hard to make a blanket statement on that.
But I really feel like this instance in itself is just another example of Gabbie thinking that she's, in my opinion, the smartest person in the room, most godly person in the room, having the answer to everything, knowing what's best, blah, blah, blah. And it reminds me of two examples, like back in the day, that I just really feel like just shows like, no, this is the same person. That she did an interview with, I think.
Can I ask the audience a question? Has Gabbie Hanna, in any capacity, ever just simply admitted that she's wrong? Because I'm trying to go back in my brain. Everybody, no matter who you are on the internet, has done or said something wrong. And everybody at some point in their YouTube or content creation career has had to say, yeah, I was wrong. I fucked it. Okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry, or I misjudged it, or whatever. That, like, everybody has had to say, like, hold the L and say, I'm wrong. Has Gabbie Hanna ever, in the history of her time online, going even far back as the Vine days, has she ever turned around and just said, I was wrong? I can't think of one either. A time where she was like, I said this and I was wrong. Or even like retracted something it is that she said. Because even in like some of her videos where she's like, and I said that these people said something like this about me. Well, they didn't say this about me. They said this, which is kind of similar, but like she kind of explains her way out of it instead of, yeah, I fucked it up. I was wrong. Not once. Well, there we go. There we fucking have it, guys.
It was BuzzFeed when she had released a song or a music video, and it went viral, not for, being a great song, but because there was an audio glitch in it where
it was
her
genius.
voice was like altered in some way, and for that reason it went viral. And the publication, the interviewer was like asking her thoughts on it, and she was like, yeah, that's embarrassing, but I'm just happy it didn't happen when I'm super famous. Could you imagine that happening when I'm nominated for a Grammy? And in my head, girl, I'm just like, where, who, excuse me? And it's not that she's an internet personality. That's not it. Look at Alex Warren, look at other people that have come from the internet, right? But it's because she's Gabbie Hanna. And now I think that this timeline is truly interesting of Gabbie doing...
I will say though, I don't think it's unique for especially creatives when it comes to like music and all that kind of stuff, like to vision themselves and have that level of delusion that they will get a Grammy, that they will be award nominated, that they will be, enjoyed by the Academy, etc. I don't think that that's unusual. I think that's something that I've heard a lot of artists say. So I don't know about that one.
Her blanket apology in 2024. And then, she got engaged, whatever, and doing this type of, I'm a Christian, canceled influencer, hypocritical Christian pipeline here. And then starting to get more involved in worship work or whatever they're trying to do. And basically being told, like, you're wrong and you need to seek help. And please stop calling here. This is a Wendy's.
Dude, this is a Wendy's restaurant.
By one of the heads of the worship team or the church, whatever position the pastor was in. And then potentially from there to end of the year, them still trying to get work and not being able to necessarily get the opportunities that they want because of her own actions and not being able to, get the best of referrals from this other church. And churches talk, pastors talk. They're going to know, oh, she told you to go to hell, or that you were going to hell or something like that. When you told her, please seek help, you are unwell. So from there, then posting a bunch more and seeing the also not positive feedback of here she goes again. She's spiraling. She's doing this. She's doing that. And then, of course, bringing it back to it's the drama channels that have ruined my life because you're not being met with what you feel like you should be met with. A lot of praise and people thinking that you're the best, which you're not. She can sing. She can. Personally, don't think she can write poetry. Those poetry books were poo. and the art that she's been doodling or painting or
I like her art.
Art is subjective. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for other people. Who cares, right? I'm sure I like and do things that other people don't like too. However, anytime it seems like
for fuck's sake, this is literally my freaking life. This is literally my life. Hold on a second. My fucking camera's overheated. God damn it. What is wrong with this fucking day, bro? What is my life? Like, actually, what is my life? I've had enough. I truly have. I've had enough today. This live stream is having so many fucking issues.
Met with not the utmost praise, she freaks out. And it is everyone else's fault and not her own. Gabbie has said multiple times that being on the internet is not good for her, yet she continues to come back and has the same reaction now every single time.
But here's the thing.
People do not like what...
This is the thing. Whenever she does come back, she always says it's for a grander reason. Like, the last time she came back, she was like, it's because I have a duty. I have to share my word with everybody. I have to share Christianity with everybody. Like, God put me on this planet to have this, life, to have this influence, to use it for good. Like, there's always like a grandiose reason as to why. You know what? Maybe she is a narcissist. Maybe I am completely wrong.
What she's saying and aren't happy with her version of events, or she calls it her testimony.
I think it would be more fruitful to just discuss scripture now. Like, there's abundant scripture talking about the way God communicates to us, about dreams and visions, miracles. Like, God is here. He's speaking to us. He's answering our prayers. We have no reason to believe that God doesn't speak to us through dreams. Why would you believe that? Why, as a pastor, first of all, it's concerning that you've never had an encounter with God. But why would you believe that God would leave us and forsake us to receive direct communication from God? And that will look different for everybody. All of these things, you think that came from insanity or Satan. That is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit if you truly believe that the Holy Spirit, in answering of my prayer for direct communication, for praying for the gift of prophecy, to prophesy, if you want to call that a mental illness, that is still a gift from God. Call it what you want. Call it a hallucination, a delusion. Okay, it's steering me towards God. Thank you, God.
So I'd say it's safe to say that, in my opinion, Trisha Paytas and Jessica Urban, also known as Jessie Smiles, have
literally not even the fucking problem. The best thing that both of these women did was never respond to Gabbie Hanna, because they ain't even the fucking problem, bro. They are not the problem. Do you know what it is? It's a pie. Like, what's inside the pie, the meat and potatoes, that's what's really like the tasty part of the pie. But the everything else is just like a pie crust, right? Jessie Smiles and Trisha Paytas and the drama channels who are now all of her ops, we're just the pie to the crust. The issue is the meat and potatoes. That's what's going on here.
Absolutely nothing to do with Gabbie Hanna's lack of success. And that lack of success has everything to do with Gabbie Hanna. Just because two people that you had your biggest beefs with have moved on, refused to mention you, and are very happy with their lives and their careers, have had two of the most successful second wins I have ever seen, and you're filming a podcast in your basement, doesn't mean that you're being silenced or bullied or that it's their fault. It means that you need to move on. And then maybe you will possibly have some success.
The only reason the audience at large thinks you're a piece of is because you've acted like a piece of That's got nothing to do with Jessie Smiles, Trisha Paytas, or any of the drama channels. No drama channel has planted a seed in anyone's head to make you look like a bad person when you've been a good one. Because we've yet to see you act like a good person, at least in the last 5 to 6 years. And not to mention, all the drama channels that you're so angry at were very concerned about you as a human being, but you don't know how to accept both things being true.
But for the love of God, put away ChatGPT
100%.
and get a therapist, a real one. Could you imagine if I get added to that list? I'm a narcissistic abuser, watch out. God forbid a woman have opinions. All right, friends, that is it for this video.
I think that was a great video by CC Suarez. I love that video. I think that was a great way to tackle such a multi-layered topic, because there's so much to say. There's so much more that can be said as well. What I will say, though, is when it comes to Gabbie Hanna, I think that there is one thing that she did tell us that was true. And we all need to, we all need to at least be fair in some regard as to when Gabbie Hanna has been right. And the one thing that I will say that Gabbie Hanna has been right about is that all of us, we need to manage our expectations. Oh my God. We need to manage our expectations because at this point, like another commenter said in the chat, it's historic. It's historic. It's histrionic. I don't even know what the word is, but it's like there is a patented history of Gabbie Hanna going through this whole thing, coming back, doing the same thing, getting shunned, then leaving, saying that the internet's not for her, then coming back again. So we've seen this far too many times. And at this point, we need to manage our expectations, okay, guys? Gabbie Hanna has been just a little bit, but I don't know where this is going to go from here. From what I know at this moment in time, I think that she has closed off her Patreon. So the last I heard is that now her Patreon has gone back to being private. I think you can still read the old texts that were there before, but any of the new content it is that she is posting now, I think it's now behind a paywall, which means that more than likely this story will fizzle out because I know a lot of drama channels are incredibly done with Gabbie Hanna. So I doubt that anyone's going to be spending their hard-earned money to continue to watch Gabbie Hanna spiral through whatever it is that she's going through. All I can say is all the best, girl. All the best. Histrionic. Thank you so much. So she cannot seem to see the pattern 100%. There is a huge pattern with Gabbie, but I think that's just fucking Gabbie at this point. What can we do about it? As Nick D. Ramio once said, it's not iconic, it's histrionic. You have personality disorder. Yes, AJ made a good video about this. I think I've got a video that was given to me by the anti-bot, but I think it's something that's like very similar to the one it is that we've just watched. I just wanted to catch up with Gabbie and see what's been going on. Okay, so next up on the docket, we have the e.l.f. cosmetics drama, we have the Sims 4 drama, and we have Disney adults apparently homeschooling their children at Disney. So put a 1 in the chat if you guys want to take a look at the e.l.f. cosmetics drama, a 2 in the chat if you guys would like to take a look at the Sims 4 drama, and a 3 in the chat if you guys would like to take a look at the Disney adults situation, and we'll get straight into it. Antibot. No, I think it's what that content creator's name was. Is there any lighthearted drama? I would say that the e.l.f. cosmetics one is definitely a lighthearted drama, as far as I'm aware. But this is just me gonna be giving my thoughts and watching a few TikToks with you guys. Let's take a look. Oh, we've got quite a lot showing up. Hold on. Why is my chat going so slow over here? My chat has stopped on this page. Oh, here we go. It's catching up. 33333. You guys want the Disney adults? Okay, I was not expecting that. I was expecting you guys to want to go for number 1. Interesting. So we got 1 and 3. Oh, no, we've got 2 and 3 at the moment. So, what's that? How many 2's got 2, 2? 2, 2. Okay, I think we got more 3's than 2. What was number 3? The Sims? No, the 3 was the 3 was the Disney adults homeschooling. Okay, so this one was one that was suggested by you guys on Discord. If you guys aren't a part of the Discord family, definitely take a chance and have a look at Discord. This is made by a content creator called Because I'm Missy. I've never heard of them before, but this video is to do with Disney adults wanting to homeschool their children at Disney. I have no knowledge about this drama, so I'm going in completely blind with you guys. So let's take a quick look.
So a lot of you guys might know, but unfortunately, I am a Disney adult. I like going to the parks. I like Marvel. I grew up watching all the Disney movies. I would say I'm a pretty casual Disney adult, but Disney adults have been making news lately for things like harassing cast members, spending millions of dollars to live in the parks, going into debt to go to Disney. All of this
I didn't even know you could live at the parks. People are living there? That's crazy.
Makes me raise an eyebrow here and there, okay? But then I heard about this community of people that homeschool at Disney. These are not regular homeschoolers. I'm not talking about people that do Disney-themed lessons or people that dress up in princess costumes and do their homeschooling. These people literally take their kids out of normal school so they can homeschool their kids inside the Disney parks. And I needed to find out, what is the advantage? Why are we homeschooling our kids in...
What can you possibly learn? Like, what can you possibly learn from Space Mountain? Like, I'm a bit lost.
Disney. So let's go. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys is what the Disney homeschooling community is and how they define themselves. And one of the ways they do that is like through these aura edits. That's like the best way I can describe what this is. It's these aura edits of why you should take your kids out of school and homeschool them at Disney. So here's an example of one. It's a vlog at Disney to Kendrick's They Not Like Us song.
Oh my God, my homeschool kids because everyone else is at school and they're at Disney.
And it says, my homeschool kids, because while everyone else is at school, they're at Disney.
Bueno, they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
And then we have another one here, and it's a Michael Bublé song, And I'm Feeling Good. And it's just, again, another vlog of them walking around Disney. And the caption says here, do you know you can homeschool at Disney? Well, it's true. Who says learning can't be magical? From storytelling and toy
This has to be some of the most privileged shit I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
Storyland to Science Galaxy Edge, a Hollywood Studios is a homeschooler's dream. I just I just love how like the music and the way that these are filmed, it's giving like those thirst traps that like the alpha males do. I feel like I'm watching that one guy from your high school do like a money spread on Instagram to promote his...
I was like, that's what I'm trying to figure out as well. I don't know if this is like a homeschooling group community who like spend a few days at like Disneyland. I can understand that there is, I think there are, with homeschooling, the world is a place to learn, but I wouldn't necessarily say that specifically Disney is the place to learn.
Rap album or something with the way these are filmed. But you know, instead of seeing a money spread, you're seeing like a spread of $20 Disney beignets, which honestly is a flex in itself. That's expensive as f. Then we have another aura edit. This one, the vibes are flowing, you guys.
Poor homeschool kids looking out for what everyone says they're missing out on.
Kids
oh
out here
God.
looking for what everyone says they're missing out on, and it's these Disney-themed pumpkins and a sunglasses hut. The Playboy Cardi beat over Disney pumpkin aura edits is something I did not have in my 2026 bingo card. Why is this aura edit going so hard? What is this, a look maxing edit? Oh, big deal. Clavicular got frame mobbed by an ASU frat leader. Meanwhile, we got...
She is saying so many fucking Gen Z words that I do not understand. Clavicular did what with the what now? I'm so old.
Disney homeschoolers out here fun mogging all of you.
What is mogging? What is mogging? What is chat? I need an answer. What the fuck is mogging? Fun mogging? What is this? We did a school trip across the country to Disney World. It was very educational and cool, but not only for the class we were taking, not for all of my school. Here's the thing. I went to Disneyland Paris with my school, but the majority of the trip was to do with France. So we went to the French markets. We started ordering things in French. We were speaking a lot of French in France. So it's about like getting really in touch with the culture, which I can understand being a lot more educational. The Disneyland trip, which was like at the end of the vacation with the school, was like literally just for fun, just because we were there. So I don't quite understand. Hold on. It's like a face-off. Mogging is a manosphere term. Oh my God, okay. Mogging is Gen Z internet slang for meaning to significantly outclass, outshine, or look better than someone else, typically regarding physical appearance, fitness, or confidence. Oh, all right. Okay.
School peasants. Now, at this point, you might be saying, damn, Disney aura at its peak going hard. But what exactly is Disney homeschooling? So I want to show you guys this creator on TikTok. Her account is called Most Magical Homeschooling. And she describes really well what Disney homeschooling is supposed to be and what are the benefits of teaching your kids at Disney.
This isn't your average curriculum. It's geography with arepas. It's science with butterflies. It's emotional growth through Disney stories. It's homeschool made magical. Why do we homeschool at Disney World? Because research shows kids learn best through play, stories, and field trips. And Disney is all of that rolled into one. We're not on vacation 24/7, we're intentional. We talk to cast members, we journal in lines. We learn about culture in Epcot. And yes, sometimes we just play. In those moments of play, they build connection, confidence, and curiosity. The magic isn't just in the parks. It's about how we experience them. Research shows kids learn best through storytelling. And Disney does that better than anyone.
So what I'm getting from her videos here is that kids learn from stories, play, and field trips. And so because Disney does the best stories, is the best field trip, it in turn means that Disney is the best place to teach your kids. Now, I don't doubt that kids...
I'm so incredibly fucking lost. Why just Disney? There's so much to be learned from the whole world. Like, I'm confused.
Learn through stories, play, and field trips, right? Like, Disney stories are great for learning morality things. Like, you're still special, even...
I feel like learning at Disney, homeschooling kids at Disney is for the parents. And that's it. I'm going to say what I'm fucking saying. It's for the parents. It's so you can say, oh, we homeschool our kids at Disney. We've taken a different approach. It's very much, you know, the pick-me-ism of parenting. Like, you know, those parents, I'm so better than you because my kid does like 5 different lessons. They're doing violin, clarinet, gymnastics, football, as well as archery. And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, does your kid really need to do all of these things? Do they really need to have this many interests? But it's because they want to be able to say that for you. It doesn't really matter, you know, if the curriculum makes sense. It doesn't really matter if the kids are actually gaining anything or benefiting. It's about how they can present to the world. And that's how I feel. I fucking hate those parents. Those are like the worst kind of parents to me.
If you have curly hair and wear glasses, or it's okay to be gay if you're a side character and it's only kind of implied. But how is that relevant or comprehensive enough to teach a child all the things they need to know, even for young kids?
And here's the thing as well. When I think of homeschooling, because I think that homeschooling can be fantastic, I could never homeschool personally. I don't think I'm smart enough to do that. But if you are smart enough, especially when it comes to academically, if you are smart enough to do homeschooling and think that you can be able to teach your kid in a way that, you know, they're receptive to, go ahead. I think that homeschooling can be fantastic for children. But I always thought that the whole point of homeschooling was allowing your kid to get real life experiences. And, you know, like when I hear of other people from foreign countries who are homeschooling their children because they are, you know, digital nomads, they're traveling the world, all that kind of stuff, they will teach their kids, you know, through like budgeting habits by going into the store. Can you find this grape? Can you find this fruit? Can you find this cereal? Can you deliver? Can we total up how much all of these things cost? And then when we get to the till, you need to tell me how much it's going to be. And then we'll see if you've actually been able to add up all of the items correctly. Great real life world skills. I don't know what real life skills a child is going to get from Disney. I think it could be good for English literature. I think it can be good for storytelling. I think it could be good for English language. But beyond that, even when it comes down to culture, like the Disney's version of culture, say if you think about like Princess and the Frog and New Orleans and all this kind of stuff, right? And Louisiana, it's such a caricature of what that culture really is that the kids can't even truly experience that culture. So again, beyond storytelling, English language and English literature, what else can you teach your kid at Disney realistically that's going to give them real life skills to take out elsewhere? Like, am I losing the plot? Diamond of 6 just says, yeah, but you're supposed to teach your kids to do that outside of school though. Anyway, I mean, clock it. But I also think that like when people do those kind of things as part of their homeschooling, shows the world that like homeschooling doesn't have to be as difficult as people perceive it to be. I think it's very good. But I don't know what kind of real world experiences the kids are going to get here.
But she does try to answer these questions that we all have by putting up this video. And this is the list of things that she claims kids learn by going to the Disney parks, all right? Practicing new languages, the water cycle, botany, biology, marine biology, zoology, physics. Me when I lie in my resume. LinkedIn influencers describing their internship working at McDonald's on LinkedIn. Guys, I didn't just fry the fries. I negotiated our supply chain between vendor and consumers and raised stakeholder wealth. We're not just going on roller coasters and getting autographs from mascots.
Okay, this is like a fucking side note, but I used to work for the ambulance service. That was my job before this, right? I used to work for the ambulance service, and there was a girl who was on my team, and she, bearing in mind, my previous job to becoming an ambulance dispatcher was as a store manager, right? And I had this girl who was also on my team, and she got in on the job because I had to blag it. I had to, I've got great communication skills. I've worked in customer service for so many years. I've done this. I've, been in a managerial position. I've been able to organize timelines. I've got really good time management. You know how you have to blag it for a job? Well, she came in and her previous job was as a phone sex operator. And she was like, I know how to talk to people and I know how to calm people down. I know how to assess what a person needs and what they actually want, and being able to read in between the lines because I was a phone sex operator. And she fucking got the job. She still works there today. She actually still works there today. And I was like, that's crazy. You can literally blag your way into any job with any work experience. I'm just saying, you can literally blag your way into any job, because I don't know how you go from being a phone sex operator to an ambulance dispatcher. Crazy. I salute you.
We're learning about zoology and physics. I'm not even trying to be mean here, okay? But like, bitch, I need you to be so for real. Like practicing new languages, geography, culture. These are all supposed to be like the Epcot learning points. What do you mean practicing new languages?
Okay, one sec. Epcot learning points. Because I feel like we're doing a thing that I don't. Okay, Epcot, experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Okay. Is designed as a permanent World's Fair that emphasizes human achievement. Wait, what the fuck? What am I reading right now? What is Epcot? What the fuck is... What the fuck is Epcot? So like learning areas. You mean those like fucking little machines that you press a button and it tells you about the animal when you go to the fucking zoo? Is this what we're talking about right now? My American ass having to search the word blag. Oh, like... Blag is like lying, not necessarily lying, but just like enhancing something. If I said I'm going to blag it to get into this nightclub and I'm under 18, I'm going to pretend like I fit the criteria and they're never going to ask me any questions kind of vibes. That's what blagging is. Disney had wild ideas for Epcot, like the dude. Epcot is in Florida in Disney World. Oh, right. Okay. Right. I'm trying to follow.
Yeah, my kids learned to speak Chinese going to Epcot. And they ordered their crab rangoon with a slight Chinese offensive accent. And this is my favorite one. Budgeting.
At Disneyland.
Oh yeah, our most magical day in the park equated to the cost of a PS5 and the weekly grocery allowance for a family of 4 in Idaho. And this is kind of the point I wanted to get across in this video, which is that this is not homeschooling. We're not talking about homeschooling. I know there's tons of reasons why people homeschool their kids. But the point of Disney homeschoolers, according to Disney homeschoolers, is that Disney amplifies. Disney is like the core of the homeschooling experience for the kids. It somehow makes it better. It immerses them more, right? And that's the part that I'm not 100% convinced on. So of course, the next thing I want to show you guys is what does Disney homeschooling really look like on a day-to-day basis. So I want to show you guys multiple of these day in the life, a typical school day at Disney from multiple creators.
Okay.
So this first one is at Epcot, which all of them tend to say is like the most educational park. And the reason why is because Epcot has like a space part to it. And then there's also World Showcase where they have like 11 different countries.
This is what I'm talking about. Like this stuff, like where people are like, we went to Mexico, Norway, China, Germany, Italy. Do you get what I mean? Like it's not really experiencing these things. So I don't know.
They recreate some of the structures. They have different types of food, different types of like gift shops and stuff like that. Okay, let's watch this all the way through and then we'll discuss. While we're doing this, I want you guys to keep track of how much actual learning goes on in this day.
Giving hugs. Patience. Life cycle of butterflies, that's fine. Okay. Guys, packing snacks and taking them for your trip. My kids do that in the summer holidays when I have to go to gymnastics school. Like, scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt constitutes as physical education. Okay.
There's just a lot to unpack here, okay? Let's take it from the top. So the first lesson they had was a science lesson.
That part, Lauren, Charlotte, that part, I feel like it doesn't require Disney. None of this requires Disney. None of it. None of it. You could do all of these things out there in the real world. It is for the parents.
Lesson where they learned about space by going on this ride called Mission Space. And this is a science fiction ride where you fly to Mars with tons of inaccuracies like putting you through a hypersleep or flying through a meteor storm around Mars, or that there's a human station on Mars that you can go to. I'm giving this science lesson a 0 out of 5 points because you learn as much actual space facts from this as you would watching one of the prequels from Star Wars. And then they do their history lesson by going on this ride and they saw this 1980s animatronic of a printing press. And then when they got off the ride, then mommy pulled up a Wikipedia page and read facts off to them. I'm giving this ride a whopping 0 out of 5 points.
Jesus.
One, how is this relevant for kids of that age range? And two, I don't think that watching these animatronics that haven't been lubed up since Obama.
No, I can see some merit to this. I don't think the part that's getting me is Disney doesn't have to be the place to do this. That's all. Sim Gamer says, I just want to say hi. I feel like I really like your videos because you always make me laugh. Oh, thank you. I'm a quadriplegic and ventilator dependent, and I live an hour from Disney World and in America, and this sounds stupid. I love how you gave me your entire life story and you're like, and this is fucking stupid. Agreed. And thank you so much for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it. But I agreed. 100%. None of this is necessary. Google with AI. Yeah, you can't Google without AI anymore.
Obama was in office was a significantly better way to learning about the printing press than reading about it in a book or watching a video on it. Usually kids these age learn things like, I don't know, like the 50 states, the presidents, US history to an extent, usually taught by a balding middle-aged white guy that wears a golf shirt every day. But instead at Disney World, we get to listen to mommy rattle off Wikipedia facts while eating $20 beignets. And then after that, they have another science lesson by going to the butterfly enclosure, which I'll give them 2 points out of 5 because, you know, fair enough. But then they also go to Figment's science ride, which is just a dragon singing Cocomelon-esque songs about imagination. And for that, I'm giving Figment a 0 out of 5 points because you dead ass would learn more about science from watching one of those trap version of the Cocomelon songs than you would this dinosaur. The only science that Figment could possibly teach the kids is what sleep paralysis can look and feel like to the body. Because literally, what is this creepy ass dinosaur?
It's bootleg Barney.
Bro literally looks like the anti-woke version of Barney. Now, these next lessons is probably my favorite part and arguably the most important part of a young child's like schooling experience, which is social skills and responsibility. And for those lessons, we have hugging Pluto for social skills, learning patience by waiting for this dumb motherfucker to sign their autograph book, and responsibility for holding their backpacks with snacks all day. Right away.
Literally, it's like literally the bare minimum. Just say you want to take your kids out. Just say you want to take your kids out and enjoy it. If you just said, listen, I like taking my kids to Disney, and the more times I can do that, the better. I find it way more relaxing than having to sit down and do these school lessons online, and it's a lot more fun for me. I'm doing this because it makes my life easier. Whether the internet hates you or not, at least you're being fucking honest. Because trying to tell me that the kids are gonna get so much more from Disney is just complete and total bullshit.
Giving this -3 points. -3 points. Social skills is not hugging a mascot that is paid to be nice to you. That's like saying you're learning social skills by sexually harassing ChatGPT. Social skills is navigating being the one horse girl that also plays the clarinet in the 3rd grade. Social skills is navigating that your nickname is now George because you got pantsed one time in gym class and everyone saw that you had a—
Oh my God, my husband just said a Blippi teaches them more, 100%. I would take $50,000 of Blippi over this.
Bush, all right? Like, that is what social skills is. And I guess my real favorite time of the day is mommy time. Bitch, don't piss me off.
Where she got to have a mimosa.
The whole day was mommy time. Like, let's be so for real. Well, okay, guys, congratulations. That was a full day of learning at Disney. I think that it is very telling that there is such little amounts of educational opportunities at Disney that you guys are dead ass trying to justify Disney homeschooling by showing us that butterflies exist, visiting space and countries at Epcot, and this 1980s animatronic of a f***ing printing press. Like, that is the best you guys came up with? Like, I get that 7-year-olds don't need crazy curriculum, but like these Disney parks are just simply not enough to provide any education past a surface level. And that's why it feels like all these lessons are just shoehorned education on top
It's just simply not real education. I'm gonna skip ahead though. I want to see what homeschooling day 2 looks like for them.
For doing this. Okay, here's another day in the life of what it's like to homeschool at Disney. Again, we're gonna watch the whole video through, and I want you guys to count how much education actually happens during this day, okay?
2.5 years ago, I convinced my husband to move us 500 miles so that I could be a stay-at-home Disney mom, and here is how our life is going now. And
okay, I'm sorry that I paused.
Immediately that's for her. Immediately that's for her. She wants to be a stay-at-home Disney mom. Girl, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's it. That's all I want to do, bitch.
Quickly, but damn, bitch. Now that is a true high-value woman, all right? You bitches are out here obsessed with getting princess treatment, wanting your man to get you flowers and a Birkin. This bitch was able to convince her man to move 5,000 miles so they can live within the Disney park.
That pussy's made of gold. I don't give a fuck, bitch. What is in between them legs? 5,000 miles away? I didn't even catch that. You got your man to move 5,000 miles away so that you could be a stay-at-home Disney parent? What is in there? What is in there? What kind of Gorilla Grip 3000 is in there? Girl, that's a magic pussy. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
So she could be a stay-at-home Disney adult mom? Bitch, you know that cookie good.
I literally just said the same thing. Oh my God. Okay. I whoever this Missy is, I live for her. She has the same brain as me, because what the fuck is in there, bitch?
That's all I have to say.
7:30 a.m. My daughter is already in her full princess gown. She is only 3, but she definitely has a very big personality, and that is a princess personality. Now, I did just make breakfast, and the kids actually ate a lot of it this day, but it was time for a second breakfast, and we are heading to Disney for a very special item. It is only August, but here in the Disney community...
You know what happens when my daughter asks me for second breakfast? I say no. Bitch, I'm sorry, with the cost of living crisis, you better eat this cereal. I'm still hungry. Shut the hell up.
Halloween starts in August. It is a very big deal, and they released the ghoulish beignets at Port Orleans French Quarter, which is cookies and cream beignets. They are heavenly. Port Orleans is one of my favorite resorts to visit. They have one of our favorite playgrounds. And it's these moments and these days that make me so grateful that we finally made the leap. We came home, we made lunch. Quick and easy is definitely my go-to right now. We got a very sweet surprise. My husband came home for lunch. I got my baby down for a nap, and that is when we do our homeschooling. My oldest are only 3 and 6, so it really doesn't take long, maybe about an hour, and then we always end our day with a craft. Now, whether it's a Disney park or a Disney movie at home, we are definitely a Disney family. We turned on Beauty and the Beast. That has always been my favorite. It's also becoming my daughter's favorite, which is so special. I did a quick little outfit change. My husband got home, and Fridays are our family night, so we typically do go to a Disney park. I've said this before.
I have to ask, do couples hug and kiss and cuddle that much? Or am I just like an antisocial individual? Because the whole husband whisking up, like, Gaz grabs my butt one time, I'm like, fuck off, dude. What is your problem? Like, I will never be that affectionate girly, I promise you. Education taking an hour. I mean, yes, I guess if it's a daily thing, but I don't know how I feel.
We definitely try not to eat out during the week unless it's at Disney. We save our money all week so that on Fridays we can have fun money. We ate dinner here, and then we watched the fireworks from the parking lot.
Okay, so congratulations, you guys. We just got through another day of Disney homeschooling. All right, now I want you guys to answer me. How much time did we spend actually learning stuff
1 hour.
today?
D.
An hour. We spent an hour doing vague schoolwork, which is mostly crafts from the way that she was filming this, right before we watched Beauty and the Beast for probably the 2 millionth time. Now, this is another type of Disney homeschooling that I feel like is very, very popular, which is that you do some of the coursework before you go to the parks and like between going on different rides.
And hey, I'm not here to hate on other people's lifestyle. Had it not been an hour and maybe 3 or more, right? So like 3 hours of like coursework or whatever, and then they go to Disney for the rest of the day, live your life. But I do think it needs to be more than an hour. I don't think that they're getting, in my opinion, enough education. And also, we need to teach kids to be able to stay in one position for a prolonged period of time. With how, when you go to Disney, all of your senses are going off. There's smells, there's things to do, there's places to see, there's so much going on, and it's very overstimulating for a day-to-day activity, in my personal opinion, for a child. I feel like there needs to be moments of these children being able to stay for a prolonged period of time, just sedentary, like where they just stay in one position, because those moments of calm are needed for a well-adjusted life as an adult. So that's my only other gripe.
Rides at the parks, but then going to Disney is what immerses them into the subject matter. If that is all true, what exactly did we immerse the kids in today? Like what, we learned about the life cycle by eating the ghoul beignets? Okay, I also want to show you guys this next girl. Now she's doing her full day of homeschooling at Animal Kingdom. Again, I'm gonna play this all the way through, and I want you guys to count How much time is spent actually learning, okay?
Okay.
So what I mean by a homeschool day in the parks is just that. We bring our books, we bring our supplies, and we do school within the parks. For this day, we started by looking in the Rainforest Cafe, checking out all the toys, and going right outside to this quiet little area and doing our first lesson, which was math. After about 15 minutes, it was then time to go in and explore the park. One of my favorite things to do throughout the school year is to utilize the Wilderness Explorer program here at Animal Kingdom. The best way to describe the Wilderness Explorer program is it's a scavenger hunt where your kids learn information about animals and get a badge in return. After exploring the park for a little bit, we went over to the baby care center, and no, it's not just for babies. This is a great area to have some lunch and enjoy a little bit of a show and AC. Use this time to get a little bit of art done where he did a sketch of Jack the Skeleton and some coloring sheets. After leaving the baby care center, we went over to Harambe and rode the safari, which was walk on and was amazing. With the safari done, we then went to the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail to go and find the gorillas. My number one thing when doing a homeschool day at Disney like this is to prep your kids for the experience that it's going to be. My sons knew that today was not going to be those days where we rode all the rides and got all the candy and all the toys. Don't worry, we still have so much fun. After completing our reading cards and our course book, it was then time to explore the boneyard for the very last time before it goes away. And just like that, our day is done and we're heading home.
All right, guys.
Okay, I actually didn't mind that one. Because she says a Disney day of homeschooling. So it doesn't give to me that the kids are there every single fucking day. It seemed extremely educational. They did a hell of a lot of walking, which is good for them physically. They did the safari where the kids could learn about the animals. There was a little bit of break time. They also brought coursework. For me, as a one-off homeschooling day rather than a day-to-day thing, I don't think that this is bad. Like, am I crazy? Does she know that zoos exist, or did she forget that fact? Literally.
Another full day of school at Animal Kingdom. I want you guys to count how much time was actually spent learning. They did 15 minutes of math when they were at the Rainforest Cafe.
It was 15.
And then she also sprinkled in some flashcards and some workbooks in between them playing on the playground and stuff. So I will give them an hour and a half, 2 hours. I feel like this is my issue with like Disney homeschooling, is that the core of their belief system is that putting kids in a place where gorillas exist or where physics exists with roller coasters and stuff, like that immerses them and they learn about those.
One sec. Alt Lab Photo just says, how is this any different from family vlogging, honestly? I mean, I feel like it is important to a certain degree, especially for parents who are choosing to homeschool or are looking at homeschooling as an avenue, to hear from other people who are doing this homeschool experience. I think that there is very limited information out there when it comes to homeschooling. And I feel like modern education tries to steer away other people from taking the homeschooling route. Especially if you would like to search up homeschooling on the internet, you're going to be bombarded with a bunch of different, reports and stuff like that about how, homeschooling makes not very well adjusted children, etc., etc. So I think it is important for people to see that like various different styles and kinds of homeschooling. I just don't think that all homeschooling should be done at Disney. And maybe I'm fucking crazy.
Things like there has to be an objective. I mean, like with the definition of what they call educational, you can make anything educational. Like what's the difference between going to Disney for 6 hours a day and having them play Fortnite 6 hours a day? We learned about econ playing Fortnite. Everyone was unemployed, so...
Okay, right. So those are the 3 Disney adults. After that, she says, how does Disney help? So let's go to another video. I think she's going to show somebody else explaining how Disney helps. So hopefully we'll finally find out why this is so much better than a regular education.
They really play a part in homeschooling. Like, does it actually help kids learn? And this is a video by the most magical homeschooler that I mentioned previously.
Oh God, the first one.
And she does a lot more videos, like teaching her kids with flashcards in between rides, journaling around the parks, using Disney themed books to learn things. Like, she does a better job at like actually documenting the type of learning her kids do at Disney. And this is kind of what she has to say to the criticisms about Disney homeschooling.
So what do I mean when I say I'm a Disney homeschooling mom? Well, that's the question, right? So I will
create curriculum based on what we are going to be doing that day at Disney World. So I will create unit studies to further their learning. So there are so many different ways to learn at Walt Disney World. Sometimes we will actually bring our curriculum from home. Sometimes we will build unit studies based on what we'll be doing that day. Because we live a few minutes from Mickey's backyard there, we will just hop over for a few hours during the week, and we will learn from people that are from France in the France Pavilion. In Epcot, for example, we will study an invention and history when we...
Imagine being a French person working in a ratatouille fucking restaurant, and here comes this woman with her kids trying to speak French to you, and you just want to get on with your job. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Like, I would literally avoid this family like the fucking plague, because here she comes with her kids trying to talk fucking French to me, and I'm just trying to serve, girl. Like, this is a Wendy's.
It will go to the Carousel of Progress. I love getting to give my kids the gift of experiences and learning through experiences. So my 5-year-old, for example, is completely comfortable going up to anyone from any country in the world and having a full-on conversation with them and learning from their culture and from their...
Oh, can I also say something? Because she said about like a 5-year-old's comfortable going up to anyone. First of all, stranger danger, that's an area that I think needs to be assessed, because especially when it comes to Disney, the characters there, the people there, the servers there, they make you the most important person in the world. Like, you are the most important person on that planet, and because of that, like, I feel like that could instill a sense of self-importance rather than a sense of community, if that makes any sense. Hopefully everybody understands what I'm driving at. Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain that any different. Your kid, when they go to Disney, because it is the most magical place in the whole entire world, they will be treated like princesses and princes, right? The kings and queens, they will be treated like the best ever. They will have the most amazing experience and come back with extremely fond memories. Why? Because they were important. They were like the most important thing in the whole entire world that time. However, in the real world, especially when you go into, a normal school format, you aren't the only person who needs to learn. There are numerous different kids who needs to learn. Sometimes you need to be quiet and be less distracted so that other children can learn. You're not the center of attention. You can't just go over to somebody and expect them to react positively. Do you understand what I mean? Like, certain real world and real life experiences, they're actually being denied because they're going into Disneyland and into Disney World thinking that they're the most important human being on planet Earth, and unfortunately that's not the case. Am I making sense? A full sense of security, maybe not a full sense of security, but it's not the real world. That is not the real Paris. That is not the real Mexico. That is not the real Norway. Like, these are not the real places, and the people of these places may treat you differently. For instance, France is, especially Paris, is possibly one of the, in my humble opinion, least friendliest places to be. I don't think it's easy to speak to a French foreign person in France, in my humble opinion, from my personal experiences. And sometimes that's just cultural, Sometimes that's just cultural. You're not going to have that real cultural experience of trying to speak to people in their native tongue in a foreign country when you're doing it at Disneyland, where everybody's there to serve you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
Experiences.
Okay, yeah. We don't need to do that. We don't need to go up to random people and have your 5-year-old kid ask them about where they're from. Guys, her ass is the type of mom that would hold up the whole taco line because she needs her kid to order the tacos in Spanish.
And while, yes, if we go to the Italy Pavilion in Epcot, for example, and we try to learn about Italy there, we are not going to get the same experience as if we were actually traveling to Italy. It is a lot better than her just reading it from a book.
This is another...
One sec, sorry. Somebody says, nah, for real, Paris is Paris, France is France. France as a whole is a completely different situation, but Paris is definitely different. What I will say, though, is it's the same in every country. You could go over to New York, scream at the top of your lungs that you like frosted ice cream, and shake your titties in the middle of the street, and nobody would look at you. Because in New York, people are doing their own thing. You could scream at the top of your lungs, people are not paying attention. Same goes for another place like London. You could do whatever in the center of London. Nobody's really going to pay much attention to you at all. That's because there's a cultural thing that's going on, and you're not the center of their universe. So it's not just segregated to France. I think that there are, especially when it comes to capital cities and capital towns and stuff, there are very unfriendly places no matter where you go.
Issue I have with these Disney homeschoolers is that they always make the parks seem like they're this extraordinary cultural hub for learning. Like there's these museums and teachers everywhere that's trying to immerse your kids. This is a Disney princess theme park in Orlando, Florida. So this is the Italy pavilion that she's talking about, okay? There's a gift shop, a restaurant, gelato, and a wine bar. Like literally you would learn more about millennial wine mom culture than you would Italian culture from going to Epcot. What, her kid's gonna spend a whole day in the Italy pavilion and her main takeaways about Italy is that there should be bottomless breadsticks everywhere, Mickey gift shops everywhere. And
yeah, I think she's made the point. I don't know what to think about these fucking Disney parents, if I'm perfectly honest. Honestly, I just think that there are better ways. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, is this the one from before? Was that one from before? Oh, one sec, hold on. I just wanted to say hi. I really like your videos because you always make me laugh. Oh, no, it's the one. Okay, it's the one from before. Thank you so much, Sim Gamer. Honestly, I just don't think that Disney's the place to teach your children. I think, don't get me wrong, I think it's great for a one-off experience. I think it's great to do occasionally, just like taking your kids to the zoo is good occasionally, just like taking your kids to a swim park is cool occasionally. But to do all of your education in that one particular spot, especially if it's not geared towards real education and you're having to like cherry pick the way it is that you want to structure schooling for your kids in order to make it work there, then let's just be honest and say that it's about you. With Disney being one of the most magical places in the whole entire world, your kids are being treated like kings, queens, princesses, and all that kind of stuff, which also means that allows you to take a little bit more of a relaxed approach to parenting because you know that when it comes to Disney, for the most part, they're pretty much in safe hands. Your kids can run around. They can talk to whoever they want. They can go over and go over and hug a character from their favorite movie and all this kind of stuff. Stuff like that just doesn't work in the real world. You can't just go over and hug somebody. You can't just go over and, expect somebody to notice you or all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it's really going to make them properly prepared, and I hope that they do a lot more schooling, and what we're seeing is just like a small snippet of the amount of schooling it is that they're doing. Because if an hour and 15 minutes, half an hour, 15 minutes total time of education is all that you're giving to your children, they're going to be severely disadvantaged when it comes to the real world and actually being able to manage themselves adequately. So that's my take on the Disney parents. That was such an interesting one. Thank you so much. Okay. So next up, we have either the e.l.f. cosmetic scandal or we have the Sims scandal. And I will let you choose one before I disappear. Yeah. So put a 1 in chat if you want the e.l.f. cosmetic scandal, or a 2 in chat if you would like to take a look at the Sims 4 drama. And we'll do one more before we go. This will be the last one of the night. As someone who is currently training to be a teacher, there are ways to incorporate Disney trip into actual learning objectives, but that would require parents to do an iota of research. 100%. 100%. I think that there is a way to incorporate it, and I think there is a way to, do some learning there if you wanted to do learning there as well as other places. But I just think that there's plenty of things you can do. There are plenty of other places to go. There are science museums to go to. There are art museums to go to. There are countries to travel to where you can actually immerse yourself fully into the culture and have your kids understand how things work in a different country. There are ways to do things like this that doesn't require Disney. Okay. Oh, I think we are overwhelmed with one. Okay. Oof, hard choice. Well, if this doesn't take me an hour, then we'll do the second one. We'll do the last one, which is the Sims one. Okay, so hopefully this only lasts 30 minutes. Okay, so the e.l.f. Cosmetics drama. If you guys are not aware, e.l.f. Cosmetics have come out with a pomade, right? It is, for all intents and purposes, to people of color and people who have curly hair, an edge control. It is literally an edge control. It is based off the e.l.f. primer, the Power Grip primer, which is one of their most successful products. They decided to come out with this pomade, but the problem isn't the fact that they came out with a hair product. The problem is with who it is that they are choosing to give this product to. I have a theory, and I will get into it shortly, but let's take a quick look at one of the videos. I've got like multiple videos here on TikTok from e.l.f. Cosmetics, and we'll take it from there. Let's go to TikTok. Here we go. Okay, so this is the primer advert, so let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see at the end of this, oh my God. There we go. There are two products. You've got the Power Grip Hair Gel Wand, which is basically an eyeliner wand that you can use to grip your hair in a hair gel, like, I don't know. And then you've got the Power Grip Stick and Slick Gel Pomade. Powerful hold and long-lasting grip. Now, this has started causing quite a bit of controversy on TikTok, so we're going to take a look at a commentator that I'm not particularly fond of because they say a lot of lies. So just take whatever you see with a pinch of salt. But anywho, they're the only person who's done a very comprehensive rundown as to what's been going on. So let's take a quick look. Of course, TikTok would start playing up.
Oh, e.l.f. Cosmetics gets called out for culturally appropriating edge control. They literally said copy and paste on a slick back brush and some edge control. I just think it's funny that most of the influencers that they sent this product to are Caucasian and seem to act like they don't know what this is at all.
It's very thick. Do you see that? Just like solid. I was not expecting that. It's really sticky. It's like strong though. Jesus. Okay.
Oh God.
Let's try to brush this back with the slicking brush thing.
Well, it seems like e.l.f. Cosmetics hit copy and paste on the beauty supply store in the corner. And they gave the same script to everybody.
So e.l.f. came out with a Power Grip Gel Pomade, and I had to see what this was all about because it's wet and goopy, but the texture is so unique. It was kind of like dry and matte feeling, which I really liked.
But like, it's fully solid.
Why is it so quiet?
Not only did e.l.f. try to market this as something brand new, it was clear this was never for the girlies that it was intended for in the first place from the jump. And the girls are saying this ain't for us, girl.
Power Grip Stick and Slick Gel Pomade. This looks like a brush my mama used to do my hair with when I was little. And girl, it is tough.
To me, this looks like edge control. Ooh, e.l.f. Cosmetics gets...
Okay, so basically it's a gel pomade. There's a girl who was on TikTok who basically turned around and said that, like, when you look at the products, this is the lady here, she said when you look at the products, these are two completely different styles of product. Whilst they are pomades and edge control, the issue is that some of the ingredients don't match. And here was where my brain was going. Is it possible that they are creating an edge control styled product that isn't specifically or tailored towards Black women? And the other second question is, does there even need to be an edge control that isn't tailored towards Black women or people of color or people with curly hair texture? Or is it just that anyone should be able to use edge control gel pomade or whatever? But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this because some of the adverts to do with this has been it's kind of clear the demographic that they're trying to market this towards, and it's very clear to me, at least, that it's not Black women.
That's my slick back test. Let's see if e.l.f. can handle my hair. I'm gonna be trying the new e.l.f. hair products and putting it to an all-day wear test to see if it can keep my hair slicked back. Like
She's got a very curly hair texture.
This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Stick and Slick
gel pomade, and I've heard mixed reviews about her. So I thought I'd put her to the test. I'm gonna do my slick back like normal, but we're only gonna use e.l.f. hair products. Mind you, I like a slick back. I do have their new Slick Styler brush, so we're gonna use her. I love a good point because we do want a middle part. Normally when I do a slick back, I would put lots of oils in my hair, but I don't want to disturb the product, so we're not gonna use any oils. She smells clean. This is thick. This isn't giving gel, this is giving edge control. A gel pomade. Well, let's see. No, this is definitely edge control. They gentrified edge control. They colonized it. I'm very interested to know if this is gonna leave white flakes in my hair. Now let's go in with their brush. Okay, not gonna lie, I like this brush a lot. And no sign of crusting so far. I also can't tell if this is the type of gel or pomade that's gonna like harden or if it's just gonna stay this consistency.
Okay, so we see what the product is, we understand how it's supposed to work. Then this is where things get interesting. So on TikTok there is a content creator, not on TikTok, on Instagram there is a content creator called Deborah Grace. Definitely go ahead and follow her if you haven't, who basically said that this was a different kind of marketing and it's called rage bait marketing, which is something that I have never even thought about. So I thought it would be interesting to show you guys and basically start a discourse like, what do you actually think? So let's take a look at this and then we'll get into the discussion.
e.l.f. colonizing hair care products.
e.l.f. recently came out with a new hair gel.
You might have dropped the ball on this one.
They basically used a marketing technique called rage-based marketing.
Colonized it.
I'm not even gonna put that in my hair.
This product used as an edge control.
What is rage-based marketing? Why do brands do it? And how to respond. Rage-based marketing is a digital strategy that brands use to create intentional, provoking, reaction-inducing content that will irritate you in order to take advantage of the human brain that reacts more to negative emotion. They know it's edge control from the beauty supply store. They know you use the brush to slick your edges down. There's no business that...
So this is kind of like a very new phenomenon that is taking place, and it's something that I see quite often on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And you'll see like somebody will make a post, say it's about a very beautiful celebrity. Let's say like Zendaya, right? And she's on the cover of Vogue and she looks fantastic. Everyone in the comments is going, yes, queen, you look amazing, you look great. And there'll be somebody who has like a tick next to their name, like a verified account who's paying for, you know, Twitter's program to be a part of like their verified creators and stuff. And they'll say, she looks freaking ugly. I can't stand how big her nose is. I don't know why everybody likes her when she looks like this and she did it. They just say some nasty shit. And then that generates a numerous different responses underneath it because people are so angry. Like, why would you say that? Why would you say something so mean? Why would you say something so crass? That is completely untrue. That is a lie. Whatever the situation might be. And because they've rage baited the audience at large and gained so much traffic and audience to their posts, they generate a revenue. So now, especially on Twitter, it's turned into a place where people are rage baiting each other on purpose in order to generate traffic, because if they get traffic, that means that they get money. So it's because like rage baiting has become monetizable. What I think is happening, especially when it comes to e.l.f. Cosmetics, is they are using the exclusion of Black women and Black women's response to their very obvious exclusion from this to market their items. And it's annoying because to me, it seems as if it is also a way to get Black people to continuously market their product, right? And obviously this is an oxymoron right now because I'm currently talking about the product. I've told you about the product, you know exactly what the product is and what it does, and people might go from this video and go ahead and buy the product, and I'm not here to stop you. Go ahead, do what you want to do. But the point is that they've been able to successfully get Black women to inadvertently promote and discuss this brand new product from a skincare and makeup company who are now branching out into hair products, and have been successfully able to get Black women to market it on their behalf without paying them. That's the important part, without paying them, because the people who are getting paid, the people who are getting sponsored for the e.l.f.'s pomade, hair gel, edge control, whatever, are primarily white people, or primarily people who don't necessarily have kinky or curly hair textures. Hence why they're so confused by this product. They're confused by this product because they've never had to search for a product like this to use for them. So that's kind of where my head's at.
That launches any product without doing market research, because no business wants to lose money. Why do they do it? Well, it's free marketing. They don't have to pay you the dollar shmoney and the pound shmoney. Instead, they'd rather give the same money to creators from other races that they live and inspire the product. It's basically exploitation of the group being taken advantage of. Black people. Women, if we're being specific. I'm a huge fan of e.l.f. Cosmetics. I love their camouflage concealer. In fact, I'm wearing it right now, but I will never be repurchasing it ever again. And this is how you should respond, because ultimately your power is in your wallet. Don't spend your hard-earned money on brands that don't respect you. There's so many other brands that actually respect creators, are diverse, are inclusive, and will not use a minority group to create rage-baiting content. Rage-bait marketing is historic.
Okay, so now that you've kind of got the concept of where my brain's at and how I think personally, especially after watching this creator, that this has become somewhat of a marketing tactic, my question is, do you think that this is a strategic marketing tactic to not only get people rage-baited, angry, talking about the product, making content about the product, thus promoting the product, getting the product seen by more people, etc., at the disadvantage of black and brown communities primarily, whilst in tandem allowing these black and brown people to promote this because they're outraged by the way that it's been promoted? Or do you think that specifically down to the ingredients not quite being very similar to an edge control, or at least an adequate edge control that would serve its purpose for black and brown and heavily curly hair textures, do you think that there is also a possibility that it was marketed to white people and to people who don't have that densely curly texture because it's not for us? What are your thoughts? That's it. I literally, all I want to know is what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts? Do you genuinely think that it was just a rage-baiting marketing tactic? Or do you think that it is just simply a hair care product that is not for us? And do they need to label it as edge control if realistically that demographic don't tend to have those same issue with their edges? Right? So do you think it's rage baiting? Kayla just says it's rage baiting for sure. Somebody else just said, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know, but I could see it going either way. But in today's day and age, I wouldn't be surprised if it was on purpose. Somebody else says, no, definitely. Somebody else just said, no one else got cancelled for profiting off the black community, so why would they? Ooh, ouch. Giggle just says, as a white chick with wavy hair, my ass would have no use for this product. It's rage bait for a subpar product. Ooh, okay. Angela Sleepy just said, I feel like this product is actually for nobody. Okay, white girls with straight hair, right? And I'm talking to the straight wavy girlies because I've never known that life. Do you need this kind of a product, or will an Eco Styler gel suffice? Genuinely, will just a regular gel suffice what you need, or would you see a benefit to using a product of this nature? I'm thinking more, no more of e.l.f. for me. Oh, do you know what? Their grip primer is fucking good though. It's possibly some of the best primer I've ever had. I catered to a marketing conference for a bunch of Canadian CEOs, including CoverGirl. A couple of months post Lashgate, a suit lecturing other suits how TikTokers and YouTubers seem stupid, but are, I want to see the rest of that conversation. Golden marketing tools. I was gobsmacked. I think it is intentional, but but not a higher up suit decision. It's some millennial or Gen Z marketing agent, and it's so sad to see. Oh, okay. White girl with straight hair. I have zero idea what I'd use this for. Would you not use this for a slip back ponytail, or would you just stick to gel? Honestly, when I was waiting tables and before my ADHD was treated, if I could have that level of slip back, I would have loved it. I think there could potentially be a place for it. That's why I'm like, I don't know that life, so I don't want to also speak on that community. Wavy haired white girl who lives in a very humid Florida here. I would have no use for this. Regular hair gel works just fine. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to ask you. That was literally the whole drama. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. So with that being said, let's get into the Sims drama. Right, Disney adults. Here we go. So we got a video from Not Malcolm. If you guys have been a part of my live streams in the past, you will know who Not Malcolm is. He is one of my favorite Sims content creators because he critiques the fuck out of The Sims. If you don't know what has gone on up until this point, there has been an EA buyout. What is that? Basically, EA got bought out by Saudi Arabia. A lot of terrible people are involved in it, including Trump's own son. People do not want EA to be bought out by Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia, as a country, has anti-LGBTQIA plus policies, as well as anti-journalism, anti-women, just a lot of things, like people can get stoned and all this kind of stuff, and they feel like the policies and practices of the company and the people who chose to buy out EA are not the things that kind of align with the Sims 4 ethos. Because of this, people were like, we don't want to support a company that is also helping fund basically a government that has a lack of human rights that I stand for, right? So a lot of Sims creators have decided to leave the Sims community, as in they're no longer making Sims content. They have stopped creating, they've taken themselves out of the EA creator network where they would get like free items and first tries and all of that kind of stuff. A lot of these people are no longer being sponsored by the Sims, and the community is just kind of fragmented. We have people who still enjoy the Sims, who just want to enjoy the Sims for what it is, a game, who don't really want to think about the the cultural side of it and how this whole thing is happening in terms of government. But then we also have the other people, such as Little Simsy and other content creators who have, done charity drives for Palestine, who've created, she created this thing called Sims Creators for Palestine. And she raised I think it was close to $2 million or something like that. Don't quote me. But I think it was a fuck ton of money for Gaza. And has always been very strong with her political opinions. And these content creators are finding themselves kind of lost. Obviously, with her being called Little Simsy, she's created an entire brand around The Sims. So what happens to these creators who strongly do not align with this new EA buyout? How do they continue to create revenue and money considering they can no longer align themselves with the game? It's become a very, very difficult thing that's going on. But apparently things have got worse for the Sims community. I have not watched this video yet, and it's by Not Malcolm. And apparently, from what I'm gathering, the Sims has created a marketplace where they are now going to require people to purchase CC. And as a Sims, I was going to say a Sims creator, I'm not a Sims creator. As a person who plays Sims, the idea of purchasing CC and that not being an optional thing for me is absolutely ludicrous. So let's take a quick look at what Not Malcolm has to say.
Wow. Watching multi-billion-dollar corporations destroy themselves in real time might just be my special interest. The Sims 4 is a 12-year-old game that already has over 110 paid DLC. DLC that costs over $1,600 total.
Can I just say, I bought all of my Sims and Sims DLC, and I haven't got the last 4 since the EA buyout. And what I will say is I added up, because I got most of mine in the sale, I added up how much I'd spent, and I've already spent well over £1,000 on a game that was brought out in 2014. I just want to make that clear. The Sims do not give a fuck about us.
Total to buy. I think we can all agree that that is already enough. 5 years ago it was enough, but now it's a lot. You guys thought the girlies on TikTok collecting Stanley Cups was a lot.
Yeah.
You should see a Sims 4 stand.
There's no way in hell this is $5 million. Well, fuck me in the ass, this is $5 million.
But if all that wasn't enough, they have now announced a marketplace where players can buy custom content using a virtual currency. Yes, microtransactions have finally arrived to The Sims 4.
Soul Simmers. The Sims 4 Marketplace is a new in-game space where you can discover.
Can I just say, before we even hear this fuck-ass person turn around and say, by the way, we're going to continue to charge you even more money, imagine you have spent over $1,600 on The Sims 4 and Sims 4 DLC, as well as kits and all of that other stuff. And now they're saying you're going to have to do these things in microtransactions. Now, every little thing it is that you want to purchase, that sink, that it's not going to come in kits and packs anymore. We're now going to do it on a marketplace, and you're going to have to pay us for it. Fucking crazy. Crazy.
And download content. Moolah is a virtual currency used for marketplace purchases. You can access the marketplace from inside The Sims 4.
No. As most of us know, Electronic Arts has been on a downward dog spiral for at least a decade, and at this point I'm rarely surprised by the links this company will go to be a piece of shit. But I think we may have reached the cesspit.
What's that? Alt Lab just says, so the Sims resource is gonna die. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. I haven't watched this video. I don't know if like websites like Sims Resource and stuff like that is gonna die. I don't know what's gonna happen to all of the CC creators I am subscribed to on Patreon for free and new content, especially like, because you also have to remember that historically the Sims have not been very good at producing black hair textures and stuff. So for me, I purchase CC from black Sims creators who create hair CC for the Sims. So like locks, Bantu knots, you know, swooped edges and baby hairs and stuff like that. I purchase all of that. So I don't know what this means for the future. So we're going to find out together.
Of hell with this latest situation. But before we dissect this entire mess, I want us to take a step back and ask ourselves, why now? Why after 12 years have they now decided to introduce a marketplace and a virtual currency where you can buy a fucking sofa for $5? I haven't even bought a sofa in real life. That's why I'm single. Well, what if I told you all of this is not a coincidence? Right now, as you're watching this video, EA CEO Andrew Wilson is in Miami, Florida, where he's meeting with a bunch of banks to secure contracts for the $20 billion loan EA is taking out as part of the company sale to Saudi Arabia and the Trump family. If you're not caught up with that mess, you must be new to the channel. Welcome. But yes, the Saudi government and the Trump family are buying EA.
Oh yeah, apologies. I said it was Trump's son. It's Trump's son-in-law. Apologies.
So while our boy Andy is down there with JP Morgan Chase and Citigroup and Bank of America, who were all circle jerking over all the interest they're gonna make from these loans, EA Studios have all been left burdened with the task of figuring out how the hell they're gonna pay off all these loans. I know when people talk about numbers, it gets boring. That's why I failed calculus more than once. But this debt that EA is taking on is massive. This is the largest leveraged or loan-backed buyout in US history. And just the interest on these $20 billion loans will exceed $1 billion a year. And that is very problematic for EA because on average, they only make around $1 billion a year in net profits. So now with these loans, their net profits are wiped out.
And that's not just with The Sims, because you also have to remember that EA have like FIFA and like other games like that. So the loan doesn't make any sense. How was this even approved?
Completely. While this whole buyout is very lucrative for EA's executives, like the CEO, who own hundreds of thousands, millions, let's be real, of dollars worth of EA stock that is going to be bought by the Saudi government, the aftermath of the buyout and paying back all those loans is a huge concern. And even though The Sims 4 has a lot of couches,
another casual sofa,
they're not gonna find $1 billion a year just looking under the couch cushions, even if there are like 200 of them. So EA has to take extreme measures to afford this deal. Studio closures, replacing workers with generative AI. We've already seen them partner with AI companies. Layoffs. There were just a few hundred people laid off a couple weeks ago at one of EA's studios. And of course,
they've got
increased
Battlefield.
monetization. Introducing the Sims Marketplace. With this marketplace, EA has partnered with custom content creators to sell their creations officially through this new store. The official creators make these items, upload them to the marketplace, and then players can buy them using the new virtual currency called Moolah. Now, as with every shitty thing...
Oh my god, it's like a fucking loot box. Oh my god, it's like a fucking loot box. Oh, they don't give a fuck about us for real. Oh my god, this is like Roblox. This is like Roblox and Fortnite, just a constant loop of spending money. We are poor. We are so poor out here. The cost of living's going up. Gas is unaffordable. I am scared to fill up my car, bro. What the fuck is going on? These companies are so fucking greedy. They've already got $1,600 out of many of the hardcore Sim creators and Sims players. What the fuck is going on? This is Roblox. This is fucking Roblox. I'm so angry. I didn't expect to be this angry.
The Sims team has introduced to this game over the last 12 years. They have marketed this marketplace as a win for players and the community.
The Maker program allows these skilled artists to publish content directly to The Sims 4 for all Simmers. So whether you're on PC, Mac, PlayStation, or Xbox, you can enjoy new decor, build objects, clothing, accessories, makeup, and
why didn't they partner with CC creators in the fucking beginning then? Because that is one thing that many not PC, what you call it, console players of The Sims have an issue with, is that they can't get CC. So you have to be playing on PC in order to get CC on The Sims. So why didn't they do this in the fucking beginning? And give like a good payout between themselves and the CC creators. Instead of CC creators, like the ones it is that I pay into on Patreon, having to create Patreons so that people will actually purchase the hard work it is that they create for The Sims. This is fucking crazy. It's like literally a decade too late.
Even hair while supporting your favorite maker.
Now, PC and console players alike will have access to all the custom content in the world, and creators can earn some money selling it. You might be thinking, okay, this is a great way to support custom content creators. But as we know, with everything EA does, it is not that simple. These creators are only earning 30% of the sales of their own creation.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, you greedy robbing thieving bastards. Oh my god. 30%? 30%? Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. That's fucking diabolical. That is diabolical. 30%. 30%. 30%. 30%. You've just created custom content and uploaded it onto the Sims Marketplace for them to make unlimited revenue. Based on your creation. They did nothing but put a fucking marketplace up. And they are taking 70% of the revenue? Oh, no, this is cooked. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Trisha 5% voice in my head. Honestly, it might as well be 5% because what is this? 30% is crazy. Oh my God. Oh, please, can we get CC the normal way and we don't have to use the marketplace? I hope they don't just like shut down CC. I feel like that's coming.
So if they create a chair and then upload it to the marketplace where they sell it for $1, if somebody buys that chair, they only get 30 cents. Who gets the rest, you ask? You guessed it. Of course, the remaining 70% goes to EA. It's kind of genius, really, because with this marketplace, The Sims and EA will make a hell of a lot of money by doing...
Yeah, for every 100 moolah someone spends on their account, they earn 30 cents. So 100 moolah is the equivalent of $1, right? And as you can see from this screenshot over here, 200 moolah is $2.49, meaning that there is still like a 25% increase on what the conversion is for this. So they're already earning additional money on top of the fucking created currency, just so you could buy into the marketplace. They are fucking, oh my God, thieving bastards.
Absolutely nothing. The developers on the Sims team are not making these items, yet they're reaping the majority of the reward.
Yeah.
They're getting 70% of the revenue. Now, of course, it's understandable that EA has to take some of that revenue to cover the back-end costs, like with hosting the marketplace and stuff, but I think we can all agree that 70% is absurd.
When you purchase maker packs, you're supporting the makers behind that content.
No, you're not.
I mean, girl.
I find it so scummy that they have marketed this as something that is rewarding custom content creators. As we all know, custom content and mods are the reason this game has lasted for 12 years. Modders and CC creators are the backbone of the Sims.
Literally, The Sims would not exist. The Sims 4 specifically, Sims 3 was kind of goated, but The Sims 4 specifically would not have had the legs to be able to stand for as long as it did without CC creators. And I am so fucking for real. I am so fucking for real. Without those CC creators, there are still broken game packs. There are still broken game packs. Sims 4 for rent has never worked. Never. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. So we're getting broken games, a subpar interface. Don't even get me started.
4, but they have marketed this whole thing as a wonderful opportunity and rewarding custom content creators, when in actuality it is a huge slap in the face. Of course, it's not surprising given the way that EA has treated the Sims player base for the last 12 years, but I feel like the manipulation and the gaslighting from EA and the Sims team, let's face it, is getting more and more obvious. They're not even trying to be fair and equitable, but of course it gets worse. The Sims will also be moving all future kits, a type of DLC, onto the marketplace. So players will no longer be able to buy kits directly just off of the EA app or Steam. They'll have to purchase virtual currency first and then use that virtual currency. Bearing
in mind, if you aren't a person who plays The Sims, kits are like literally 10 to 12 items that you can put into your game, right? So we're talking like plant pots, console tables, mirrors, just like tiny little things. And these packs can cost you like, I don't know, $6.99. So like, let's say $7, right? So it'll cost you like £7 or whatever to get these kits to implement into your game, right? And these are just downloadable content should you want it. They're optional. You don't have to get all the kits. Most Sims creators tend to. You don't have to get all the kits, but it is an option should you so want to use those kits. To take them off being kits and then to put them onto the marketplace is crazy.
Kits, and it already feels like the pricing for the store is quite exploitative.
Yeah.
Not to be arrogant, but I feel like EA may have watched my video about Disney Dreamlight Valley where I talked about what a mess that game's monetization is.
Because
that game is
they also do the fake online currency shit and make people purchase every little item. Say if you wanted to dress up Mickey Mouse in a different outfit, you would then have to like, it's a mess. The whole thing's a mess.
Essentially does the exact same thing. Dreamlight Valley also has a virtual currency and a store where items are priced in a manner that forces players to buy more and more virtual currency. For instance, an item in Dreamlight Valley might cost $12, but the virtual currency can only be bought in bundles costing $10 or $20. So you can't buy the cheaper $10 bundle, you have to buy the $20 bundle, and then you have virtual currency left over, of course. And a lot of players get caught in this trap where they're like, oh, I have some virtual currency left over in my account, I should buy something else, but then they have to buy more virtual currency to afford that thing.
So we'll just say this is an £18 set. That is absolutely ridiculous.
It is a slippery slope for players. The kind of pricing that is often used in these cash shops or marketplaces is extremely problematic, and it is exactly the type of shady shit we should all expect from EA. Furthermore, I do feel like EA will be making use of some of those seasonal and limited time only events that we see with a lot of live service games. I just know they're going to do everything they can to take advantage of that completionist mindset that afflicts so many.
And also, we have to remember that they had the Sims Mobile. I think that's been shut down now. So all of these people who have done this, like, you know, online currency, paying for certain things on their properties and all this kind of stuff on the Sims Mobile, just completely one day they said, we don't have the resources to keep running this anymore, so we're shutting it down. So all of the stuff is that people had generated over years and years of playing the Sims Mobile completely gone. So what's to say that one day the Sims just goes, enough, and just shuts this whole shit down? And I'm so fucking for real, because they've done it once before.
Sims 4 players. But another concern I have is that by putting kits on the marketplace, only accessible to people who buy virtual currency, I imagine this will limit players' ability to pirate content. This marketplace will add an additional layer of protection and make it even more difficult for pirates. And this is intentional on EA's part. They're well aware of the fact that a ton of players pirate this game and they're losing money from that. Pathetic. In short, this marketplace is a brilliant idea for EA from a financial perspective, but sadly, as expected, it is absolutely terrible for players. Like this guy, 6Sam, who is someone who's already in the EA Creator Network. He's created
6Sam has been around for years. I've got a bunch of their stuff.
Created official kits with EA, and he already makes a lot of money selling his creations on Patreon. We do not need to give any grace to these greedy fucks. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, the Sims team hosted a Q&A where they responded to concerns people have about this marketplace, and here's what one player said. Oh, this sucks. I'm watching the video now. $10 for a CC set? Yeah, right, 6am. $2 for some lipstick? Give me a break. This is ridiculous. These creators are
so bad.
Now, I don't know why the hell they included this in the Q&A, but EA's community manager responded to this and said, I understand this is a big change to the game and how we buy content, but please keep it respectful toward makers who participate.
Oh, shut the fuck up. This is not about the makers. This is not about the makers. People are upset with 6Sam because they've been around for a hot minute and they make a lot of fucking money. And people are entitled to have their criticism of that particular CC creator. However, this is about you. This is about you.
In this program, keep it respectful. These players are the ones who are funding your game. They are the reason this game exists. And with this marketplace, you are disrespecting your entire fucking player base. The existence of the store and this virtual currency is an insult to players. Yet this community manager who's an EA employee is telling paying customers to be respectful. Sweetie, the players do not owe EA shit. You have to earn their respect. You cannot just tell paying customers to be respectful while you're ripping them off.
Yeah.
$110 DLC is disrespectful. $1,600 is disrespectful. The bugs that are never fixed, the shopping cart, the virtual currency, the store, all the in-game advertisements begging you to buy the newest pack, the buyout. It's been 12 years of disrespect. But no, they're saying this is our gift to the community, so you better respect us.
No.
So after this whole marketplace was announced, there was a leak where an insider said that Maxis, aka the Sims team, is secretly rooting against the marketplace. According to this insider, the Sims team secretly wants the marketplace to fail. And to that I say, really? Now, I can definitely see some developers and graphic artists wanting this marketplace to fail, because if you think about it, if they're using custom content creators to make assets for the game, this means that they need fewer employees to do that. So this whole thing is also detrimental to the graphic artists and the people who make assets for the game as well. I can see that. I can see them being concerned, but we cannot lump the entire Sims team into this because it simply doesn't make sense. For instance, do you guys know who this guy is? The man in the video introducing the marketplace to you is Sim Guru Graham, the production director on the Sims team at Maxis, who has been at EA for over a decade. If you watched my videos, you may have seen him before. It's the same guy who 12 years ago gaslighted players into believing that The Sims 4 did not have open worlds and you had to travel through a loading screen to visit your neighbor who lives 5 feet away. According to him, they did all that to make the neighborhoods more alive and vibrant. It definitely wasn't because The Sims 4 was repurposed scraps of a failed MMO called Project Olympus, right? Or this lady, do you guys know who that is?
Yeah,
Lindsay
I remember
Pearson. Yes,
From
the
Project
vice
Renee.
president of the entire Sims franchise. She leads the Sims team and Maxis, and she's also the same person who said it was her idea to make the infamous Star Wars pack that nobody asked for. Or this guy, Sim Guru Dave, a lead producer on The Sims who gaslighted players when they complained about new worlds not having...
Can I just say, I love the fact that he's holding the people who work for The Sims accountable, because especially when it comes to these major corporations, sometimes it can be hard to tackle who's responsible because it's so very faceless. But that is one thing that the Sims team love to do, is to put their face in the middle of everything. And it is nice that now, like, there is a content creator within the space that is calling this out. Obviously, this is very, very niche drama, so I don't expect everybody to completely understand what's going on here. But what I will say is that within the Sims community, there is a certain level of toxic positivity that takes place there, where you mustn't say anything bad about the Sims gurus. You mustn't say anything bad about Maxis. We are lucky to even have the Sims. We can't complain when the games don't work. We can't complain when it completely crashes. We can't complain when bug fixes are actually provided by CC creators. Let's not forget that restaurants have not worked, and that's been out for over a fucking decade. And the only way to get your restaurants to work is to get a CC that's been provided by another fucking content creator. There are literal content creators creating bug fixes for games that we have had for a decade that they still haven't fixed. Make this make sense. But I'm glad that he's putting faces to these people.
Seasons. Remember the whole Eternal Autumn debacle?
Don't even get me started on the SpongeBob.
That was him. These people who are senior leadership at Maxis are also the Sims team. I do not believe that these individuals who have a history of making decisions that are bad for players want the marketplace to fail. And if I'm wrong and they are strongly opposed to the marketplace, I have to wonder, were they also opposed to the 110 plus DLC, half of which are broken? I've already seen several people say, the marketplace is EA's idea, blame EA, not Maxis, it's not the Sims team's fault. You guys have been saying that for the last 12 fucking years. At what point are you guys going to realize that the entire system is corrupt?
Yeah.
All of the senior leadership on the Sims team and the executives at EA are conspiring together to milk the fuck out of the player base, as they have been doing for the last 12 years. It really bothers me that every time the Sims team has released a broken, half-assed pack, or anytime they've done something that is simply a disservice to players, the Sims 4 fans always blame it on the mystical corporate overlords at EA. We are seeing this 25-year-old franchise self-destruct in real time. So I have to ask, if this article is true, and Maxis is secretly rooting for the marketplace to fail, where is the leadership on the Sims team? The veterans who've been there for decades when we need them. Where have they been for the last 12 years? Our beloved Sims team, Maxis, is run by corporate drones and yes men and spineless executives, and the proof is in the quality of the products they've been releasing for the last several years.
Oh yeah, sorry. Lumar just said, remember when Disney Plus didn't have ads and only cost £10? This is what's happening. Like literally, I remember when like the streaming boom happened in the mid-2010s, and we all stopped really watching like mainstream TV. There was no real need to get cable because we had other things, and we were finding these ad-free ways to gain entertainment from places like Netflix and stuff like that. And then like the boom just kind of came to a head in 2020, and now we're in exactly the same position. I am paying cable. I'm paying more than I did when I was using cable for adverts. Why the fuck am I paying a premium plan on Netflix not to have adverts? The whole point of having Netflix was to not have adverts. What is going on? Why am I getting adverts on Discovery Plus? Why am I having to sit through 3 different advertisements for Paddy Power gambling before I can sit down and watch Naked and Afraid? What the fuck is going on? Everything is a microtransaction. Every single way that these companies can try and squeeze every tiny little bit of money out of you, they are going to do it. Another thing that's happened, I do video editing, all this kind of stuff. I've got a program I use called Affinity, which was free for life when you purchased it. I purchased Affinity. However, they've now upgraded. They've got a new one called Affinity 2. I was like, oh, okay, I'll buy the new one. I go over to buy the new one. In order to buy the new one, I have to be subscribed to Canva. I now have a Canva subscription. Canva, nothing to do with Affinity, in order to be able to use Affinity. Because the old Affinity has now been rolled out. They no longer want anyone on Affinity 1. So now I have to pay a monthly subscription to Canva, a product of which I do not fucking use, in order to have Affinity Pro. Because guess what? They want me to pay for it. They want me to keep paying for it. I'm tired. I know you guys must be exhausted, because I am. I'm incredibly tired of this constant microtransaction, one thing after another, of things that we have to pay for constantly. Like, we're being wrung dry. And it wouldn't even be so bad if the wages reflected the economy that we're in, but our wages aren't reflecting the economy that we're in. And I know for a fact that I can't be the only person who feels like, where is the light at the end of this fucking tunnel? It's constant. Can we just buy a thing and own it? Like, what happened to buying a thing and owning it? Like, even as far as other things, like with Spotify, I just realized the other week that I was like, I don't own any of my music, because if I stop paying for Spotify, that's it, my music's gone. My whole catalogue, the thing is that I've been developing over years, just poof, gone. Why? Because I can't afford a fucking bill. Do you know how many fucking CDs I had in the 90s? I had so many CDs, I could pavement a fucking floor with my CDs. I had so many CDs, and when I bought them, I owned them, and they were mine. But now we own nothing. We own nothing. We don't own the movies it is that we watch. We don't own the music it is that we have. We don't own the games and the items within the games it is that we play. We don't own anything. Keep paying just a little bit more, and it is getting exhausting. For me personally, it is getting exhausting. Well, here's the thing. At least with YouTube Premium, do you get what I mean? At least, like, you pay not to have the ads, and that is it. That is the whole focus of YouTube Premium. There's not like YouTube half premium like there is with fucking Netflix now. What do you mean I'm getting adverts on Netflix?
Years. You guys know that other EA studio, BioWare? A few years ago, when the creative director at BioWare was told that EA wanted to turn Dragon Age into a live service experience, he quit on the spot. We would never see that kind of conviction and siding with the players from any of the leadership on the Sims team. Period. The Sims team does not give a fuck about you, and the marketplace is even more proof of that. There's a lot up in the air with the buyout. We're not sure which studios are going to make it. There's still a lot of people who think that Maxis is going to get sold to another company. That is not going to happen if you guys keep buying shit. But if it continues like this for the next year or so, I really hope the entire fucking studio gets shut down.
Yeah,
because
same.
The Sims is now a shell of what it once was, and I'd rather they just cut it off at the head instead of watching it die a slow and painful death. I don't think I've ever seen a game studio treat their player base like garbage the way EA Maxis has.
I think I'm pretty much done with this. I'm so incredibly annoyed. I literally did not expect that to annoy me to the amount that it has. This is fucking frustrating. And I stopped playing The Sims because of the Sims buyout. I have stopped purchasing any packs, any expansions, anything. I think I've missed out on about 4 to 6 maybe since the buyout, because that's a personal choice of mine. I'm proudly queer, I'm bisexual, I am not going to support a government that does not support LGBTQIA plus rights, and also I'm a woman, women's rights, so it was a pretty simple. Also with the journalists as well, you know, I'm an advocate for free speech. I wouldn't be able to do my job if I didn't. So for me, on all bases, it was a no no for me for supporting The Sims anymore. Even as far as I'm not even going to play the game it is that I've already purchased, just out of complete and total protest. I'm not going to be playing The Sims. Unless this buyout goes in a completely different direction, I will not be playing The Sims. But what I will say is this is getting exasperating. Every game has a loot box. Every game has a microtransaction. Every game has a on-game currency. And it's getting relentless. It is getting relentless. And half the time, especially when it comes to these in-game currency things, it's not even worth the money. My daughter, she saved up £10 doing chores the other week and then asked me if she could get £10 on her Roblox account. I put £10 on this little girl's Roblox account. It lasted her 2 fucking seconds because everything is so insanely priced, and because it's not real money, you don't really get a grasp of how much it is you're actually spending per item. It's kind of like to confuse you to a certain degree, because 200 moolah doesn't feel like two pounds. It feels like 200 moolah. Do you get what I mean? Like the currency difference is it's to discombobulate you, and they do these things intentionally so you don't realize how much you're spending until it's gone. And something has got to change. Something has got to change in this world, and I don't know how it's going to get better. The prices of everything is going up, and everybody is struggling. And when I say everybody is struggling, this isn't me sitting here going, woe is me, little old Paige. I'm fine, I'm cool, right? But when I say that, like, your middle-class friends are not okay right now, they are not okay. They might look like they're okay, but I promise you your middle-class friends are in debt. I promise you your upper middle-class friends are in debt. Your working-class friends are definitely struggling, bro. Everybody is struggling. Everything is increasing and nothing is getting better, and it feels all-consuming. And then the little things in life where we derive joy, like music and entertainment and games, they're trying to suck the life out of that too. And it's like, bro, where is the fucking respite? Where is the respite? Where can we just have joy without consequence or financial consequence? So that really annoyed me. I didn't realize it was that bad. If you are a person who plays The Sims, what I will implore you to do is download all of your shit now. Get it. Keep it, hoard it. If you're going to be playing The Sims, because it looks like they're going to go out of their way to like make getting CC and custom content elsewhere difficult, because they're going to consider it a form of piracy. So whatever it is that you've got, download it, keep it, hoard it, and hope for the fucking best, I guess. Blind boxes, oh God, please, no more. Only the rich are getting richer. That's what it means. Like, that's what it's going on. Only the rich are getting richer. There is literally a top 10, like 1% of this universe. And like, then there's the rest of us. And the rest of us does include those people who you expect to do okay. I know people right now who are way better off than me, who are drowning in debt. £250,000 worth of debt they're drowning in. And I'm sitting there like, oh God, my little £7,000 debt don't seem so fucking bad. But at the same time, like, people are struggling. And it's like, even the little joys it is that we have in life, we want to monetize it. It's diabolical. Eat the rich. These companies should be burnt to the fucking ground. I hate it here. I hate it. Anyway, with that being said, even though we ended on a bad note, hopefully you guys have enjoyed tonight's live stream. I've really enjoyed spending some time with you. It's been quite relaxing. I like that it was a little bit more of a chill live stream rather than like me running around like a crazy person. I will be back next weekend with another live stream. So if you guys want to keep it locked on this channel, definitely take a look. Also on Discord, definitely go ahead and join our Discord. That is where you'll be updated on literally everything. I'm always there. I'm there at least a couple of times a week chatting to you guys. So if you guys want to ask me any questions or anything like that, definitely go over to Discord. And with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day or evening, whatever the hell it is you're doing. Thank you to everyone who's resubscribed, donated, and all that good stuff. And until next time, it's been Paige. Bye. See you.
I'm a whole vibe, I'm a mood. They see I ate it up like food. She came, she ate, and she ain't leave no crumbs up on the plate. I'm a whole vibe, I'm a mood. They see I ate it up like food. She came, she ate, and she ain't leave no crumbs up on the plate. Lips so glossy, feeling real bossy. Standing on business, take 'em out, kamikaze. Face so snatched, it could reach the high heavens. I got no match, slaying 24/7. What you think this is deep in my glow up era? My relation's so on point, gelling like aloe vera. Chilling like a cucumber, don't need no sweater. I am living my best life, it just keeps getting better. I'm a whole vibe, I'm a mood. They see I ate it up like food. She came, she ate, and she ain't leave no crumbs up on the plate. I'm a whole vibe, I'm a mood. They see I ate it up like food. She came, she ate, and she ain't leave no crumbs up on the plate. I could be trending, the way I stay addressing all of my haters with no words, got them stressing. Keep them on the toes, bite their nails, never resting. No rest for the wicked, but I'm blessed with all my blessings. See beyond the literal, top-notch visual. When you see me shine, my light is not dimmable. Daily rise above, transcended in my spiritual. How you wanna go and hate on something this original? I'm a whole vibe, I'm a mood. They see I ate it up like food. She came, she ate, and she ain't leave no crumbs up on the plate. I'm a whole vibe, I'm a mood. They see I ate it up like food. She came, she ate, and she ain't leave no crumbs up on the plate.